Willie Mays died? I didn't even know.
I thought he was dead for like 20 years.
I thought he was dead for probably fucking 40 years.
How
old is Millie Wade?
Millie
Mays?
played from like
93.
He played from like
Shit.
1957 to like 1983.
You know how many All-Star games he made?
24.
Yeah, I was like, that's unfucking real.
He played from like 1958 to 1983.
I think it was in Negro League too before he even made it to the
All
league.
right, what is wrong with you?
That was the craziest fucking thing that you've ever said.
He's an American.
He's in the...
Yeah.
What?
He's in the, yeah, I know.
You know what day it is, too.
You're a piece
It's
of
June
shit.
19th. And he's saying... I'm not even going to say what he said.
I'm not
I
even.
thought we
You
were
guys
allowed to
heard
say
it.
now. They're in the stats. Josh Gibson's leading hitter in MLB. He played in the Negro League.
Can't believe they ever called it that.
That's disgusting.
No one was like, are you going to really call it the
Yeah, we're going to include these guys, but we're going to call it the N-word league. It's
Yeah.
like, wait, hold on. This sounds more like you're making fun of them. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, June 19th, 2024, episode 37 of the press conference. Welcome in.
A Juneteenth special.
We have crowned an NBA champion, and it happens to be our Boston Celtics. That I still feel like I'm not even really alive with what happened 2 nights ago. Boston obviously dominated Dallas throughout the entire series. With our predictions, Billy, I think you said 5, correct?
Yeah, Billy said 5.
Billy said
Boston
5.
We all said Jason Tatum finals MVP, though.
We all said JT, which I just figured it was going to be out of. I just, I feel like he could have got it. I'm not
Yeah, it still could
upset
have been
whatsoever that Jaylen Brown got it, but I did say I thought 5, but I just, the way we've played, I figured we'd give one away. Like that game 3, if Luka doesn't foul out, or game 2 at the end when Derek White got the block, I was kind of like, one of those games I'd figured we'd give up. We didn't, which, I was obviously very happy about, but I kind of wanted to start off by asking both of you what you think the main difference between the teams in the series was, Bill.
The main difference between the teams?
Yeah, like what, why was this such a quick series? I mean, I'll start off with my answer because I know I kind of just hit you guys with that question randomly, but I genuinely think that we would just have, like Udonis Haslem or Kendrick Perkins said that the Dallas Mavericks are a deeper team. I don't see how that was a thought whatsoever. I just think like our 5th best player, being Derek White on our starting 5 would be their 3rd best player. So, it's just one of those things where I just think they were outmatched, they were outgunned, and for some reason we were told that we hadn't played anybody and we were about to get what we haven't got all playoffs, which now I'm interested to see what people say because I have a feeling in the next year or so people are going to be like, that playoff sucked. That was so weak. Like, that was the weakest championship in the last 10 years, like.
That's what I've heard already. I've heard that it was the weakest. It was the most boring. Celtics didn't play anybody. They even got a 5 seed or whatever in the finals. And it's like, I mean, if you look at it this way, that Mavericks was like the best team on paper on earth ever, right? Because they beat the 4 seed who had 50-plus wins. And then they beat the 1 seed, who obviously had 50-plus wins. And then they beat the 2 or 3 seed, who had 50-plus wins, that beat the 2 seeds. So going into that, they was the first team since 2010 Lakers to beat 3 50-plus win teams to make the finals. And then they're going up against the Celtics, and they get smoked. And it's like, well, that team sucked anyway. Whereas it doesn't matter. I feel like that Jason Tatum hate and all that it's gonna happen regardless. They could win the next year too, and it'll be something. It's always gonna be something.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that Embiid said the whole East was hurt this year, as if he's ever beat Boston in a series. And then also, like, the way the Bucks were going, it's not like it was like, damn, that would have been a great series. It probably would have went 6, maybe 7 games, but I just look at it and I think, like, when you look back now, the Bucks season, obviously when they fired their coach, it, fuck them. And we said that, we've talked about that, but I really think when they decided to get rid of Drew Holiday and get Damian Lillard, that kind of, and then we ended up getting Drew Holiday, obviously. But either way, I don't really know, even if we didn't get Drew, if we wouldn't be able to beat them in a 7-game series. Like I said, I just feel like we have 4, 5, 6 guys that could start on 25 NBA teams. And like I said, PJ Washington was probably the 3rd best player, 2nd best really for the Mavs. He wouldn't play on Boston.
Yeah, I would say 6 convincingly. Like 6 guys convincingly could start on 25 plus other teams. Because you have that starting 5 that the Boston went with in the finals, plus KP off the bench, which is just insanity to have. most of these other guys would be happy to have Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, most of these other teams off the bench, but it's like that's if we have to go to guy 7, 8, 9, et cetera, et cetera. The biggest difference for me was defense. I just felt like Boston was clearly the better defensive team. All 4 games they won, they kept the Mavericks under 100 points. And if you look at the Mavericks, where was their weakness? It was their best player can't play any defense. Obviously, and their 2 best players can't play any defense, Whenever they had a lot, like their starting 5, Kyrie, Luka, PJ, Derek Jones, and Gafford. Really, Gafford and PJ can play some defense. Jones, he has the hustle and a little bit of but like, I don't think any of those 5 are. There's not one guy there better than the worst starting defender on the Celtics. So your defense, if that's the defensive levels, I mean,
yeah, I thought
Boston has 40% plus 3-point shooters and defenders. You can't really beat that.
I thought that they had a decent game plan when it came to Jason Tatum and kind of making him uncomfortable. It was going to come down to guys hitting semi-open shots, which we have the ability to do, but I do agree that like defense was a huge factor. I just think it goes back to just in general, like I said, like just overall, like people were saying like, oh, they have the best 2 players in the series, and I'm like, even if they did, like 3, 4, 5, what's the next best player they had in the series? Like 10, 11, and those 2 best. I mean, Luka was banged up, but he wasn't shooting well, playing well. He had some good stats in certain games, but the turnovers and not getting back on defense just because crying to the refs and not being able to defend hurt them. And then Kyrie Irving, I mean, I don't even – it's unbelievable, like how he – I get, he's been there before, so it's not going to hurt him as much, but I feel like him smiling after and being like, oh, you're just waiting for the next game, and it's not going to happen. Like, I'm just like, dude, that was the worst – one of the worst finals from a guy who's probably won a championship before ever to play on the road and against a team you used to play for, and to come out like that, I mean, that was...
Once he gets to Boston, it's just different. He could sit there and say they're not loud enough and say it doesn't affect them and say this and, oh, whatever, they're great. I mean, then why do you play like shit all 3 games that you were there? Game 3, I think he had a good game. He had like 35 points or something. They lost. And then game 4, he played pretty decently, and they smoked
us. In Dallas.
Those were in Dallas. Outside of that, he did not have a good game 1, 2, or 5 when they were in Boston. And yeah, I didn't think they were going to win in 5, but I was like, even if it by some miracle pushes to 7, they're not winning in Boston twice.
Honestly, in my pick, I was almost going to go for it, pick a sweep. Honestly,
yeah.
I was like, we're going to kick the shit out of this team.
Media got in my head a little too with all this because it was like every single person was on the Mavericks. So I was like, I must not be seeing something here.
I pretty much knew. I don't want to say I knew because even like, it's funny, I was going to say when Peyton Pritchard hit that half-court shot to go up 21 at half, if that was, the Bucks playing Dallas, I'd be like, this fucking series is over. But being a fan, like we were up by 21 with 9 minutes left in game 3 and almost blew that. So I'm like, this isn't, I didn't say to Billy and Danny, like we just won until they took their starters out. And then we started to kind of I like that Joe took Al Horford out first and let him get the standing go. He took Jalen and Jason out at the same time. But like, until that started to happen, I wasn't thinking that we were going to win, but just because I'm a fan. But if you watch that series, it's hard because I am a fan of Boston. But if you watch that series, it's like the Nuggets and Heat last year. Like, Game 3, Game 4, you're like, I mean, this team is just way better than these guys, and that was the case this year too. And it's no knock on Dallas. Like, I think it's more of a testament to what Brad Stevens has done. I mean, I looked at the trades that, he obviously traded Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett pretty much for Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Well, not him, Danny Ainge, but
we went from Danny Ainge to Brad Stevens as a GM.
Right. So Danny Ainge kind of got us set up with the 2 stars, and then, like I told Danny last year with the Nuggets, they traded for Bruce Brown, and you'd look at that and say, oh, they got Bruce Brown, whatever. And then they won the finals this year. Not that, Bruce Brown was the guy who won it for them.
And they lost Jeff Green this year, too.
He was a huge part of what.
Yeah, but like those type of trades, like Drew Holiday and Kristaps, like Drew Holiday is more of a star than Kristaps because I think Kristaps has had a bad rap for his career because of injuries, and he was like the 3rd pick, and, people in New York booed him and made fun of him. But like those 2 trades, like, that's what got us in and, got us over the hill, really. I mean, Drew Holiday made plays throughout the entire playoffs against the Pacers. He got the steal on Nembhard. He hit a couple and ones. He started, honestly, Game 5, him and Al Horford. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, you could tell they were a little nervous. They missed some shots. I think JT threw a bad pass. And then Drew Holiday was getting to the rim, made a couple layups. Al hit a 3, and it was kind of like, okay, like they kind of got settled into the game, but Kristaps, obviously, that's the thing too that pisses me off with people is they say like they had an easy road. We lost our 3rd best player. If the Miami Heat lose Chris Bosh, they're probably not beating the Spurs. If the Spurs lost fucking whether it was Kawhi Leonard, Tony Parker, Ginobili, and those Danny Green and those runs, Like, us losing our third best player wasn't talked about because our team was so deep, but everyone had to deal with shit. I mean,
that's the thing is they lost Donovan Mitchell, who's their best player, and Tyrese Halliburton, who's their best player or whatever. And it's like, yeah, but the Celtics lost Kristaps, and they swept. After they went undefeated after Donovan Mitchell went out. I mean, they beat it was 1-1, I believe, when he went out, and then they won 3 games in a row, and then they swept the Pacers. What else can they do?
They were fucking $4, $5, $6, up to $10 favorites in those series. Like, people act like, oh, they lost him, and what I don't get, last year when we lost Jason Tatum in Game 7, it's like, you got smoked on your own floor, and it's like, well, Jason Tatum rolled his ankle. Oh, well, no, you just lost. You were the 1 seed, you shouldn't have lost. But when a team that we were supposed to beat, Donovan Mitchell would have done what? They would have taken us one more game, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Halliburton, maybe.
Halliburton went out with 3 minutes left in the second game when we were up by 20, so it was 2-0. It was 2-0. What were they going to do? One of
those in Indiana, regardless of which one it is, and we still probably close them out in Boston.
We only lost 1 game on the road this playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And the 2 games we lost at home, Heat shot, over 50% from 3.
Broke their franchise record.
Cavs shot over 50% from 3. Broke their franchise record for 3.5.
Yeah.
And the game we lost to the Mavs, we shot 29%. They shot over 50% from 3.
We had the lowest points scored under Joe Mazzulla.
Yeah, I do think it is one of those things where we, right away, like Game 3, I said to Billy and Danny both, the first run they went on, they got up to 13, and we got it down. I was like, hey, that was like they're not blowing their load, but they were going to come out and, do that. Game 4, when they came out, we just didn't answer, and I was like, at a certain point, these guys are probably like, hey, we're up 3-0. Like, our shot, obviously.
It's much easier to give up in that position.
Yeah, and you're going back home.
Not that you should, but when you're down 20 or with 25 or whatever at halftime, because we were sitting there going, all right, it's 28 right now in the third quarter. If you can get it down to 15 by the fourth, and then whatever, and it's like it's easy to think that way watching the game, but the Celtics are like, let's just go home and win it. Like, fuck this game. And not that should be your mentality, not that even necessarily was their mentality, but they knew.
I think it's a subconscious thing that you don't even really realize.
You're up 3-0 and you go home and you're going to win the game.
I think too that Joe keeps them calm.
Yeah, which I guess
You had Brad, who's better than Joe and Ime at X's and O's, but he couldn't get them to play hard. Ime seemed worse at X's and O's, but he could get them to play hard.
Play the hardest, yeah.
Joe's in that middle because, they said Ime, guys like Derek White and shit like that, they're almost, nervous to shoot and miss, and Joe's like, you have the green light, I trust you.
Mm-hmm.
But he actually runs an offense based on analytics, kind of like Brad, but then he can motivate the guys by doing weird shit. Like Derek White said, he makes us watch UFC fights and shows them, you can lose any time, but you can also win any time. And he does that he plays 4 possessions at a time rather than a whole game and shit like that.
Yeah, I think Joe does a good job of giving his players confidence. I like how you said with Derek White. I could see that a lot because of just the way he talks about him in the media and the way he talks everything. Like when he said, at one point he said, that Spider-Man that Spider-Man movie, how they have 20 different Spider-Mans. That's like our team. We just have everybody. Yeah. And Sam Hauser goes in, you would think he's fucking Stephen Curry the way he takes shots. He's literally coming off screens, throwing shit at the rim, and it's he gives him that confidence of you have a strap.
Peyton Pritchard too. He's allowed to dribble out the shot clock.
Peyton Pritchard had a terrible series. Terrible series. He kept
put him in.
He'll put him in, and then he'll be like, fuck it, we'll put you in. Throw that half-court shot up, and he hits it.
And we win Game 2, and the first person Joe Mazzulla gives props to is Peyton Pritchard. He's like, most guys aren't going to take that shot because they're afraid of their field goal percentage. This guy doesn't.
He asked me to get subbed in,
Dante Exum didn't take it.
Who said it? I don't want to misquote anybody, but I think it was somebody on ESPN said, I don't know why the Mavericks didn't. Every time that Luka had Sam Hauser on him, he abused him. And I was like, were we watching a different series? Because I thought in my head, the first game, I was like, fuck, Sam Hauser's on Luka. This is for sure a bucket. And then I think he got a steal, and I was like, oh, and then he got a deflection. And I was like, okay, we'll see if Luka's going to figure his way out of some things. All series, it gets to a certain point, like Game 5, I told Billy and Danny, they got to get Kristaps out of there. He came in. They got 3 layups. They
got 3 threes.
We kept trying to switch him into the corner guy, and they just kept rotating until they eventually got Luka on the screen with Kristaps, and they got 3-4 buckets in a row. I thought that was going to be kind of the case with Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard, with Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. And after a while, I was like, bro, I'm okay with them isoing these guys because they're even if they're making shots, they're making them fucking work. Luka's taking that turnaround where he pump fakes, and Sam Hauser stays straight up, and then he hits it, and it's like, yeah, dude, but I didn't get that and one, and I didn't get that easy, layup when he jumps past me. I thought that was the worst take I've heard. Besides, obviously, I think Udonis Haslem. It was him or Perkins that said. I think it was Haslem that said the Dallas Mavericks are deeper than Boston, and I was like,
they play more guys. Doesn't mean they're deeper.
Yeah, they said he was there. They got Josh Green coming off the bench, and they said someone else, and I was like,
he played good.
They said someone else too off the bench, and I was like, what are they seeing in those guys that you aren't seeing in Kristaps Porzingis off our bench or fucking Sam Hauser off our bench? You know what I mean?
And obviously, he would be coming off the bench.
And the thing is, like, when it comes to depth, it's like okay, they have whatever guy you like on Dallas coming off the bench. Who do they have starting though? They have 3 guys starting that aren't better than any of the guys.
Our third guy.
Yeah, that aren't better than our 5th or 6th. That aren't better than our 6th guy. They don't have a third guy that's better than Al Horford if he's our 6th guy.
Yeah,
I was told too that Luka and Kyrie might be the best backcourt of all time.
Yeah,
that's offensive backcourt.
But even then, Steph and Clay is obviously better than them. And then people say offensive, like part of offense is being able to score on the guys that are guarding you. We didn't blitz Luka. We didn't double him as much as I thought we would, or Kyrie. One-on-one, they could not. I mean, Jaylen Brown, Luka could not really. I mean, obviously he's going to score points. He's the fucking second highest points per game average scorer in playoff history behind Michael Jordan. The guy's going to score. But for they didn't really have a Luka game where you're like, damn, he just can't miss, and they're going bucket for bucket with us. And the only reason it's close is because him and Kyrie are cooking.
But for Jason Tatum to get so much shit, like he led the team in points, rebounds, assists like Luka. He shot 39%. Luka and Kyrie shot low 40% field goals as well.
And lost 4-1.
And you can say their backcourt. Okay, our backcourt has 2 All-NBA defensive guys, and they both shoot 40% from 3. I'm not sure.
If you told me we could switch Luka and Kyrie, I'm not kidding. I'm not saying this because we won the series. If you said you could have Luka and Kyrie, you just give up Drew and Derek White, I'd be like, no, I think this is a better team. These guys play better basketball.
The Suns tried to do that. Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant. This isn't pickup basketball.
No. And I like to somebody on VSiN was saying, like, I think we're getting away from the big 3 super team thing. Like Boston, they went through their trials, and obviously, like I said, and I said this about the Timberwolves, the Thunder. Like not that I didn't take them seriously, but I said right when the playoffs started, these guys aren't going to win the NBA championship. You have to learn how to lose. I mean, really, if you put Boston in that series right now, again, the same team we had in that 2022 series again against that same Golden State team, I think we win just because. When we were up 2-1, Golden State turned it to another gear. I don't think Boston really realized, this is it. Like, you have to turn it up to another gear. I saw that this year, like Game 5. Like I said, once the first one's the hardest one to win, in my opinion. Not saying next year it's not going to be harder, but now they know. Like, when the game gets tight, you could see it this year with Indiana, with Dallas when they we were up by 11.
They weren't there
140 left. They got down to 5, and I was shitting bricks because I'm like, I know what this team does. Derek White gets a block. We relax a little bit. We get a bucket. And it's like, oh, fuck. Like,
JB hits a layup.
And that's learning things that people, unless you're a fan, you don't realize. Like, they went through that and threw shots up. And, Marcus Smart's throwing up a contested 3, or someone's throwing up a contested layup and trying to draw a foul. And it's like, bro, just stay composed. You're up by 5. Like,
every team, every star's done it. Like, LeBron wasn't comfortable in 2007. He wasn't comfortable even in 2011. But then when he goes back, he's been there a couple times. He's been to the playoffs how many times? He's been to the Eastern Conference Finals how many times? He's been to the finals how many times? Now he's a bit more comfortable. He's playing a lesser team. He's confident. He's playing a 2012 Thunder team because you look at 11. That 11 team had been there before with Dirk and whatnot in 2006. And now in 2012, it's like, I've been here before. These guys haven't been there before. They're feeling the nerves. They're feeling under the pressure. They're feeling all that. I'm not, and he's comfortable. Whereas, like you said, with the Celtics, I was thinking the same thing. I like the Celtics to win this next championship more than I like them to win this one coming into this year, because now I feel, because you could tell, like, Game 1, right at the start, I felt like Tatum was nervous. And as the series went on, he got a little less nervous, a little more comfortable, and just like, that's what's going to go on. As the years go on, he'll get a little less nervous.
Yeah, Game 1, he'll be less nervous next. Because, like I said, now he's won it.
You have one. You're set for life.
What do you, yeah.
But that's why, like, even Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, 2015, they didn't win because those guys played great. They won because, they held Cleveland to not scoring. Obviously Kyrie and Kevin Love were hurt, but, like, they didn't win because Steph Curry only has one Finals MVP, and it was in his last Finals.
Iguodala's the veteran of that.
8 years after his first Finals.
Really, the only veteran on that team, Iguodala, was the Finals MVP. The only guy that's like, hey guys, we've been here before. I'm 30. Like, we've all played basketball for how many years? I've been in the league how many years? This moment doesn't scare me.
Well, if you think about last year, I think it was August, Ime gets suspended.
Yeah,
that's less than a month before the season, and Will Hardy got hired by the Jazz. So Joe Mazzulla's like...
Yeah, to me, this was his first year
Joe
being
Mazzulla
the full-time head coach.
And mid-season, Damon Stoudemire leaves to Georgia Tech, gets hired and shit like that. And now, mind you, these are all Ime's assistants.
Mm-hmm.
Joe was kept on from Brad's coaching staff. Brad had Ime keep him. So Joe was the odd man out for that already.
That he was already in the group, like the stepchild.
Yeah. And then after the season, all those assistants leave to Houston to go with Ime. So those weren't Joe's guys, clearly.
Right.
He gets to hire a full staff. Charles Lee has had assistants now hired by the Hornets. The Clippers and Lakers want Sam Cassell to be their lead assistant. Jeff Van Gundy, who with genius move hired him as a consultant, is now the head assistant coach for the Clippers. So Joe got to put together a perfect staff. And if you think about it, as much as we love Marcus Smart,
fuck you.
He was the vocal leader that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown needed to be. Like when Ray Allen and KG came in, Doc said, Pierce is who we all listen to.
Right.
When LeBron went to the Heat, after they lost, he sat everybody down and said, LeBron is who we listen to. Wade was like, I'm going to take a back seat so this guy knows he can be the number one. Once Smart, because Smart, he thought he was the lead guy and everything.
Yeah,
like he's taking the clipboard from Joe. He's drawing up plays and shit. And if you think about it, trade for trade, Rob Williams for Kristaps, we upgraded.
Yes.
Marcus Smart for Drew Holiday, you upgraded in every single way. And then, so now your bench goes from your sixth man being Rob Williams to Al Horford.
Right.
And shit like that.
And I still, like, the main thing with, well, I guess Kristaps was hurt too, but the main thing with Robert Williams is I feel like he didn't, like, I mean, Kristaps, the first game of the year, catches a ball at the logo and shoots it and hits it, and you're like, okay. And then he has like 25 in night one, and then the first game of the finals, he comes in off the bench, hasn't played in 8 weeks, and he has 18 points in 13 minutes, and you're like, holy fuck, did this guy score? If Rob Williams is
a 10 out of 10 on defense, Kristaps is like a 7 or 8. But if Kristaps is a 9 out of 10 on offense, Rob's like a 3 out of 10.
4, yeah, at most.
So,
and he just has a lob game. That's it. And Kristaps, obviously, he's a lob threat, but you don't even use him as one because
he was sitting in the middle at the free throw line,
and especially with on him. It's all about systems and all that stuff like that. Like the Celtics want to space the floor. Robert Williams doesn't really have a place there. If you want, even Al Horford has a place there because he can space the floor. He has
the highest
3%
percentage in finals history.
But it's just like. But we touched on something earlier about Luka and attacking Sam Howell. I honestly felt like the only guy that Luka looked comfortable attacking was Jason Tatum. I don't know what it is about that, but
and Pritchard just because of the height difference.
Yeah. And then,
but that was more shooting over him. He was going at Tatum's chest and dribbling around him.
Al Horford, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and Sam Hauser on the floor. Who's the weakest defender there?
Yeah,
but. Doesn't mean he's a weak defender.
Right.
But then they just had an article I read yesterday. Sam Hauser said, Joe said, give up to Luka tough points in the paint, and I know you're going to go down and hit 2 threes, and we're up 2, actually.
Exactly.
Because Luka got 2 buckets. He got 4 points, you got a 6 points.
And making him work.
With that, and you made him work for it.
And on defense, they made him work. Like it's one of those things, like I said, you have to... I thought we did a great job. I don't know why
I didn't realize
Timberwolves didn't attack Luka on defense, or even it just...
Who are they going to attack him with? What is Cat or Nas Reed or Mike Conley or Jaden McDaniels going to blow by Luka?
When it comes to a series, you switch with KP. Every possession when he was out there, they were like, "Get him on!" Like you have to do every possession. It's like it looks boring, but that's all. That's what it takes.
But it's the little things. We purposely had Jason Tatum be the point guard and have Drew Holiday be the dunker spot.
Right.
So now their center has to go out to the corner to guard Al, and Drew Holiday's cutting to the basket and getting all those layups. On defense, we let Al guard Derek Jones Jr. so he could sag off, and Jason Tatum's guarding their center.
Yeah, the more I've thought about it, we said before the series, and I think if you gave us Jason Kidd and gave them Joe Mazzulla, they maybe take another game. But I do think Joe Mazzulla did outcoach Jason Kidd. But like I said, it's hard because he has a lot better team as well. And he has players Derek White sometimes gets the ball, he looks up at the shot clock, there's 4 seconds left, he hucks a 3 up, and it just goes in my head, I'm like, he's hitting that. Derek Jones Jr. does that. He's sitting on the bench. You know what I mean?
It's also,
we have better players, but I do think Joe Mazzulla.
I don't think if you switch head coaches that the series is much different.
That's what I'm saying.
If you gave us Jason Kidd, gave them Joe Mazzulla, I still think we win the series.
I do think Joe Mazzulla coached him.
I could see Jason Kidd's team falling apart more than Joe Mazzulla's when shit goes bad.
Joe Mazzulla is obviously the perfect coach for this team because they went 64-18 and then 16-3 in the playoffs.
80-21, I think.
81-20.
80-21.
80-21, sorry.
They were like
1 game.
I think they're like the 5th team only or something to have won 80 games.
80-20.
And win the finals.
80-20 would have been nice. Just a nice round number.
80. But also,
you saw Jason Kidd. Jaylen Brown's their best player. Or this other shit. Joe Mazzulla. You don't win if you don't rebound and get back in transition decent. And so it's like, this guy's coaching strategy. This guy's coaching mind games.
Well, also I do partially. I don't not that I don't think he tried strategies. Al Horford, Luka couldn't score on him. I mean, at a certain point, I do think Jason Kidd looked at it and thought, "Fuck, I do have to get away to maybe Jason Tatum will come out and shoot the ball 30 times and cost him a game. Like he was trying to do what he could. He wasn't like he wasn't strategizing or coaching.
Yeah.
I just think, like I said, we were bringing those young boys are coming, and they didn't stop coming. Like that's the way I looked at it, where I was like, everyone we put on the floor, they can't take a second off. It's not like, okay, like they bring in fucking Maxi Kleber. That guy should not be in the NBA.
No, he shouldn't.
They're deep though.
That's why I said, like, he is horrible.
Every time he got in, I was like, fucking thank Christ.
And then we bring in
when
a
he
guy.
fouled, it's like, no, give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, literally game 5, he had a layup. And I've never really seen Luka. He does bitch at his teammates. I know him and Maxi are really good friends from what I heard. Maxi Kleber had a layup. Looked like, you could tell he was like, oh, I don't, like, it was a layup, a literal layup. And he passed out to Luka. And Luka looked at him like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And he said, he's like, put it up. Like, there's just, like I said, but that's the thing. Maxi's never been in the finals. He was also coming off an injury. Luka and Kyrie, I don't think they were like scared of the moment, but the thing is like I said, Boston had a different type of hunger after losing a finals.
And also at the same point, I don't know who runs the team. Is it Jason Kidd or Luka? Because it's like,
well, Luka looked at the bench and said, "Challenge the fucking call." I would have said no and sent him to the locker room type of shit like that. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's clear who runs the team. I heard from Brian Windhorst and a bunch of people, like, he said he went to Spain, or that someone from Spain came here and showed them a scouting report from Luka when he was 15, and it was like, complains too much to the refs and doesn't get back on defense, and he's always like, not arguing with his coach, but he's always like, he has this mindset of like, well, I'm out there playing, so let me kind of, handle it. But it's like, yeah, man, but that's not, it started to affect his team. PJ Washington, Derek Lively, these guys are looking at the refs. It's like, your best player is kind of, and your head coach too, which Jason Kidd is, like you said, he was playing some mind games, so I think they played into that. Joe Mazzulla was like, he'd call timeouts, he would say something to the ref, but he's not, getting in his ear.
He's more of like, why didn't you call this? This is what happened.
I'll say they must have got on Tatum because he was not complaining this series. Honestly, as much as he should have been, because there was, like, if he got fouled, there was a couple bad hacks. What game was it when they weren't calling shit?
I think 2.
And there was a couple. He had a dunk where he literally got hacked. His arm got pulled down. He still finished the dunk, and he just put his hands up like he wasn't sitting there doing the whole. Luka will talk to the ref the entire way down the floor after complaining, after bitching.
10 feet behind the play.
Who just said it to you a couple weeks ago when and he's like, "This is our foundation." AD and LeBron.
Landon. Shout out Landon.
Here complaining. Meanwhile, Derek White and Jaylen Brown are running back to get a dunk. Like, one of them was going to block PJ Washington. It didn't fucking matter.
Exactly.
That's
like,
getting back
but
there.
that's like I said, the main point. Like Landon said too. Who's our foundation? I feel like everybody's just so like Joe Mazzulla, like, because Jason Tatum, he's not like a loud, animated. He scored 50 points and he put up a 50 in Game 7. Luka would have like pulled his dick out and started pissing all over the floor.
I was surprised at Game 5. Jason Tatum was flexing so much.
No, exactly.
But I think he was like, I'm going to win this game and I'm over this shit.
Yeah.
Like, you guys can't say anything.
I genuinely do think he complained less in the finals, which I like. I mean, I think it was after Game 1, because Game 1 I was kind of like, he's doing this shit a little bit when I watched the highlights, and he had a lot. Like Game 1, I don't think he knew what he was getting into, because the way they defended him was fucking weird. They had two guys lined up basically. Like, if you get past him, you're gonna have to make a play. I think he could have averaged a few more assists.
Yeah.
And that shooting percentage would have went up, and they would have had to adjust to that. But he has that mentality of a scorer, which I don't mind. I mean, we won the series.
With Luka, they were almost trying to like have someone guard Jason Tatum that he can't blow by. But if he does, like, he doesn't even want to attempt to, because Luka's just, that's how they tried to hide him. But it really didn't work. Jason Tatum I feel like he played really well.
I watched this guy show, like, Jason Tatum would be on the opposite, right above the break. And usually the corner guy in the corner will only go to like the block. He was on the other side of the paint.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, when he drives, they want 3 guys on Jason Tatum.
No, it's going to be circled, and he's going to have to make a pass.
But they're thinking he's going to get so frustrated, he's going to force the shot. Jason Tatum's like, I'll get the 13 assists.
And that's the thing.
Problem.
Against the Warriors, if you remember that Warriors finals, he was just throwing the ball away or throwing shots at the rim.
That's what I'm saying. I think
he didn't have that reaction.
It takes that time to win and lose and realize adjustments. Like, he's 26 years old. He won a ring before LeBron, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Michael Jordan. Like,
if you really think about it, and I was shocked that Luka did kind of do so well against him, like Jason Tatum. I was like, maybe he's trying not to foul this guy and get in foul trouble. Like,
yeah, that was
like
weird.
That.
They were all trying not to jump on. I think they were really disciplined on his foul baiting shit, because the one thing that the entire defense was trying to do was not get baited by his little fouls and pump fakes and this and that.
And I don't know what the philosophy was when Jason Tatum got switched on to Luka, because if you think about Jason Tatum, you're like, he could be an all-NBA defensive guy.
Yeah, he did look.
Because I've never heard Joe Mazzulla say as much as he did in this. Every time they cut to him in the he would say rebound and foul and defend without fouling. He said defend without fouling 1,000 times.
Transition defense, defend without fouling. But somebody brought it up. I saw it on Reddit, And it's like, is Jason Tatum actually the most well-rounded basketball player now in the NBA when you think about all facets of the game? He can score on all levels. He can rebound on both sides. He can
pass,
obviously play make, assist, or the hockey assist.
I still think that's
he can also defend the 1 through 5 and everything like that.
At his age, LeBron is just a little too far beyond. And also, like, he can't, you could see, you know, him, he is, I'm going to say running out of gas. Like, and that's a thing.
And you can even say since LeBron, then, is he the most well-rounded player you've seen?
You know, besides James Harden, he has to be the one.
And it's like,
because Giannis can't shoot the 3-ball or the free throw, and
Jokic can't defend.
Yeah, Jokic cannot defend whatsoever. That's why I said, I see a couple tweets about
Kawhi, I don't see as a playmaker.
It doesn't make him the best player, obviously, because Jokic, what he brings offensively is like, I mean, this series against us, he would have averaged 32, 15 rebounds, 10 assists, and efficiently 50, 40, 90.
I'll say this. Jokic's offense can make up for a lack of defense. Luka's offense cannot make up for a lack of defense.
I don't care if he averaged a 40-point triple-double. That defense is miserable.
Yeah.
At least because Jokic is big, he's only guarding a center. So it's like,
you could kind of just hide him in the
got to
paint.
guard the wings and shit like that.
That's the thing. Like, with the position Luka and Kyrie play, you're not going to be able to just be a hole on defense. Like Rudy Gobert, it's like, hey, we can put you under the rim and you're going to get switched onto some screens, but like, we can try to kind of switch you off. Like Luka and Kyrie, it's like, bro, we can't switch Daniel Gafford on Jaylen Brown every possession. You're going to have to step up and try to fucking do something.
And the thing is like, people forget we're the second defensive rated team in the league.
We're top 2 in offense and defensive rating the whole year. That's why I said coming into the series.
When we were the first defensive rated team, Joe Mazzulla was the head of the defense.
Mm-hmm.
It was his scheme.
It's just
when you blow out teams, your bench is going to let up more scoring, so you fall to second place in defensive
rating.
rating.
With this NBA, because Ryan said it last night when we were on the video game, he said, it sucks. I come home and it's a 20-point game. Like I get home at 6:15. The game starts at 5:45, and you guys are already up by 14 or something. And I'm like, but with the NBA now, 3-point shooting, what's the word I'm trying to use? But like the variance,
the discrepancy,
the variance or discrepancy. If one team shoots well from 3 and the other doesn't, it's over. Yeah. At halftime, the game's over.
Like the game one, it was just like Celtics are hitting everything from 3. They're up by 25. There's nothing you can do. They're up by 29 at half. It's like, how's that happening? They're hitting every single thing from 3. There's nothing you can do about that. And whereas like the Mavericks, it's like, well, they're not really shooting well, especially outside of Luka. Luka's playing pretty well. He's playing pretty efficiently. He has 20 points. It's like 20 points doesn't matter when the other team has 60 and the rest of the players around Luka isn't playing well.
Well, that's like when we were up 30 and they cut it down to 11, 8. And I was like, okay, they went on their run.
Got to 8.
We're still up by 8. Guess what? We're going to go on our run, and then we're back up to 16.
Yeah, they're not going to score.
It's different if we're up 10 and they go on an 8-0 run. It's down to 2. Okay, we're up 30 and you went on a 22-0 run. You're still down 8.
Yeah,
right. Still.
And like I said, with this team in the past, we would have continued to do that ISO shit, and it's probably a big testament to Joe. But I think the players also kind of, leveled with him when it came to that. Like they'd get it down to 8 or 12, or even when they got it down to 9, and they kept I felt like the shots we were getting were decent. I mean, Drew Holiday missed fucking so many layups. I was gonna fucking
I didn't know what was happening because I think he's the best at the rim, arguably on our team. Him and Jaylen Brown, I love them.
Under the basket within 5 feet, having like in the post, a low post
move.
Yeah, you're not going to pass it down. I mean, you could if you have a
finishing
guard on
down
him,
there is tremendous.
But when he's cutting and stuff, and you get him the ball, his touch around the rim is because Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, sometimes like
JT missed so many layups.
He missed one the other night where I was like, it was game 5. It was when we were missing that stretch of layups, and I was like, how the fuck did he? Out of everyone, how did he miss that? But like I said, Drew Holiday, he missed quite a few, but he's always in there. Him and Peyton Pritchard specifically getting offensive rebound. Derek White too, getting offensive rebounds. I just think, like I said, we looked like a team who was like, hey, we lost the finals before. We can tell we've got you on the ropes. We're not letting you get out. And the Mavericks were like, fuck, man. Like, if we just hit a few shots, we'll get back into it. And it's like, bro, the finals, that's not how that works, Like,
it's also, I feel like with this team, it's like, if you look at JT, JP, they're also a lot older now. But even back then, it was like, can we rely on, I love these guys, but Marcus Smart, Robert Williams, and then the bench to, like, hit big shots and come in clutch where it's like Derek White, Drew Holiday, Al Horford, Kristaps. Like game 1, they could rely on Kristaps. He scored 20 game 1.
We didn't have a fucking choice.
You know what I mean? You could rely on Derek White. You can rely on Drew Holiday. So it's like, okay, I'll be fine. Even if I don't need to be nervous, I'm going to be fine with these guys. So it's like there's a lot of pressure let off, and I think it's only going to get better for Jason Tatum and the Celtics. And I saw that he was the 6th player in NBA history to lead his team in points, rebounds, and assists. I don't know if it was for the whole playoffs or just for the finals,
it's actually a trivia.
And win the finals. Okay.
Well, he led us in all 5 categories against Indiana when I was told he didn't play well because he didn't shoot well in 2 games. But like I said, my thing is that I'm really happy with too. I think especially in series now, it's getting to the point with Jason Tatum where it's like, hey, this is the defense they're playing. We've done this before. You're gonna have to be more of an assist guy. Hey, dude, they're trying to play you one-on-one. You need to attack, and you need to be our scorer tonight. Like, I think he's getting. It's like, bro, he's 26 years old. He doesn't know everything about basketball. Now that defense.
He's not gonna get worse.
Also,
that's what I'm saying.
Also, this NBA is such a numbers game. Like everyone goes, he didn't have 30, 10, and 10
It's a box score game.
He didn't have 40 at all at this whole series. He had 30 the last two games, or game 3 and game 5, the last two wins. He had over 30, but he didn't have 40. He's a good scorer. He didn't have this. He didn't shoot that. It's like, dude, Luka had great numbers. How the fuck did he? How would you say he played this series? I wouldn't say he played that great.
I would say honestly, like I said,
he was a liability on one. There's two ends of the floor, and he was a liability on one end of the floor.
I know I'm a fan. I would say Jaylen Brown played the best, most consistent. Jason Tatum was 2. Drew Holiday was 3. Honestly, for what he did and what he was expected of him, out of a guy being hurt, Al Horford was maybe 4.
Yeah.
I mean, his shoot, like game 5.
Luka's lowest field goal percentage against a defender on our team was Al Horford.
Yeah. Like I said, but like Luka and I don't know where Kyrie's at on that list. He's under Peyton Pritchard because he hit some moments, but like
he's under Svi Mikhailuk.
Luka was like 4th, maybe 5th in terms of best player in this series. And it showed, like I said, every game that we beat them before the series. I mean, I was watching it last night. I was like, I think we're a lot better than them. I just know we're gonna have 1 or 2 of those games where we fuck it off. I'm glad it was game 4 when we were up 3-0 because if it was game 3 when we were up 2-0,
it would have been bad.
It's bad.
It might have sparked a little something in them.
Billy was dead set on 5. I said 6. I said, I think 5. I'm going to say 6. But I'm like I said, I was impressed. And it's because I'm a fan of the team. I am so happy that it wasn't that this series still isn't going on. I'm happy it's over with. Next year, I would be totally okay if you told me, hey, you're playing the Nuggets in the finals and it's a 7-game series. Like, we won one. I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm so glad this year we got a championship out of us.
Well, we saw the hype for the Nuggets, too. And it was like, even though the Celtics were killing people, it's like, yeah, but they're in the East. They're the only team with 60 wins. The Nuggets had been there before.
That did scare me.
The only team I was nervous, like truly nervous of going into this playoffs of the West, after all the injuries happened, especially when Giannis went down and then and all that, I was like, fuck, I hope we don't get the Nuggets. I just hope we don't get the Nuggets.
Honestly, too, I'm going to say this.
Both teams fully healthy.
They've never beat a 50-win team, though, so I don't think we would have got the Nuggets under any scenario. And if we did, I don't know how nervous I would have been knowing that stat now, because they play good teams. They don't play well.
I was told, too, so was Danny, the Timberwolves were going to smoke us.
Yeah.
I don't think they win a game if we played them.
No.
Now look at, and I know that it doesn't matter. People are going to say, well, yeah, the Mavericks beat them. Why would they? That's not how that works. Because I think the Nuggets would have put up a better series than the Mavericks. The Timberwolves would have not won one fucking game.
The same way the Mavericks had one guy offensively this series and Luka Doncic, the Timberwolves would have had one guy and it would have been a lesser of a guy than Luka Doncic.
I don't think he would have done anywhere near what Luka did, and he played like shit.
Yeah. And then what? Their second best player is Cat. At least the Mavs have Kyrie who can create.
He's a champion, as much as,
Rudy Gobert.
And Kyrie can create a bucket and create this and create that. He just couldn't against. I mean, that has to suck. That team is built so well that, if you're Luka or Kyrie and you have Drew Holiday on you, you ask for a screen, and then Jaylen Brown's on you, and you ask for a screen, and then Derek White's on you, and you ask for a screen, and Jason Tatum's on you, and then you ask for a screen, and you have to settle for Al Horford's on you. That is not.
And here's the thing: if Kyrie touches the ball, if he puts up 25 shots in a game, and he has Al Horford on him, let's say even 8 times, which is not obviously what Boston would want, you better go 8 for 8 because you're not going to probably shoot 50% with Tatum, Hauser, Pritchard. Like those guys are going to, they have the speed to stay in front of you, and then if you have a little help defense, Horford's the one guy you can maybe get another half step or a full step off you to hit a shot. You better hit every one of those shots, and he wasn't, especially in Boston.
What guys were he getting really beat by? Those fast, unbelievable guards, like small point guards,
them hard and shit like that.
Anybody bigger than them? Like Luka's size or bigger.
Luka's a little too slow. He's not as shit. Like Kyrie's a little.
Kyrie and them hard. It's like, yeah, that's great. Every other player, it's like Al's gonna do it, and you could see, Game 5, Al was like, I'm gonna expend all my energy.
I don't think he was losing that game. Like I honestly think if we would have given him the ball and it was a close game, he would have had a 20-point game.
He would have been a Hawks Alf or for
no, because every shot he took was pure. It was not even thought about. Like that's why I said at the beginning of the game.
52% from the field and 47% from 3.
He shows up.
Yeah, him and Drew Holiday started that game off for us, and kind of like the first time the Mavericks called a timeout, I think Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown were thinking in their head like, "Holy fuck, we're like 3 of 12 combined. We're up by like 6 on these guys." Like, thank God, because like you said with Marcus Smart and shit, I feel like he doesn't have that because he never, he obviously didn't win a championship, but like Drew Holiday has that of like, hey, Just take it possession by possession, get a good shot. I'm going to make a couple shots, and let's get into the flow of the game here.
Well, like Marcus is like, I need to hit a shot here.
Exactly.
I need to hit a three. Drew's like, I don't need to score here. I need to make the best offensive play.
I need to make it easy for my team.
I need to see if I can get Jalen open, White open, Al open, and if not, I'm going to drive and I'm going to get an and one.
The support players were fantastic. I mean, the field goal percentages outside of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are fantastic. The only guy with a bad field goal percentage is Derek White at 39, but he also only took 3-pointers, so his 3-point percentage was 39.5,
which is fine.
Yeah,
and that's where the team in the Eastern Conference Final, like I said, I was like, you're always going to have a bench game. You're always going to have a role player game. Against the Pacers, O'Shea Brissett came in.
That guy should be starting for somebody.
And then Hauser was cold in the Eastern Conference Finals. I was like, good, because usually these shooters get hot at the wrong time.
Yeah,
it's like if he's hot in the Eastern Conference Finals, guess what? He's gonna go 0 for 20. And Pritchard was hot leading up to the finals.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Hauser was hot in the finals.
That guy, every time he touched it, I was like, let it fly.
And then in the finals, we had a Nick Xavier Tillman game. Box score didn't look great.
He made a three. He played great defense.
He played corner three, and I was like, oh, this guy is Al Horford Jr. right now.
Right.
Like, he's only 25 years old.
He's 25?
Yeah,
he's 45.
Yeah, he does.
But like Danny said, Derek White shooting 39% from three. That is, and from the field, mainly it's 3-point because that's all he takes. That's, like I said, if your fourth best player, fifth best player is shooting 39% from three in the finals, you're going to win a lot of finals. That's a good percent. That's 40%.
Yeah.
That's a good
for guys that took over 1-3, basically. Sam Hauser shot 48%. Then good Horford God. 47, Drew 42, Derek White 39.5, and then you get down to Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown who are in the 20s.
Yeah,
I mean the supporting cast just rains 3-pointers.
Which at least Jaylen is like, I'm gonna go inside now.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go mid range.
Also with Jaylen on the other end of the floor, he said, in Game 5, Luka, if he gives it up, he's not getting it back. He told Joe, if he goes in, I go in, and Joe's like, dude, do your thing. Like, you are the Finals MVP.
That's where, like, numbers-wise,
best defensive player on that court for the series.
No, not even a question.
I thought, because I was like, I think Jason Tatum's going to win it, and I think he deserves it to win. If you lead the team in points, rebounds, assists, if you're the main playmaker on the team, he showed up in Games 3 and especially in Game 5 to close it out and all that. But I was like, you could give it to Jaylen Brown because there's a whole other end of basketball, defense, and he played the best in defense.
Jason took 7 shots in the fourth quarter. He was trying to
I think he was trying
to 40-point game.
Give those numbers up.
Yeah, which I'm not like everyone's like. Somebody said to me, I think he's a little upset that Jaylen Brown won it. And I'm like, I don't think so. I don't know what you
I think he is a little bit. I'm not upset that Jaylen won it, but he didn't get it. Yeah.
As a competitor, he's like, I wanted to win it.
Yes.
I'm not mad my teammate.
He's not saying he would.
It.
I don't even think it crosses his mind I think I deserved it more than Jaylen.
No,
I think it more crosses his mind
I want to be
the Finals MVP.
Kobe would go out there and win it. I want to do that.
Right.
Because they showed because I think it was Legler was showing. He's like, you can see Tatum. He's trying to put up shots. But then Jaylen gets a layup and gets fouled and misses the layup, and JT's in the back he's like upset that Jaylen missed it.
Yeah, he doesn't want to lose the game. He doesn't want Jaylen to play bad.
He wanted Jaylen Brown to.
It's not like he wasn't going into that game like hopefully we win and I play well and Jaylen plays bad.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
He wanted to just show up and be in the moment.
He wanted to be a champion.
He's like, I want me and Jaylen to both score 40 points, shoot high percentage, and then whoever the voters choose, I'm fine with. But at least we can say we're the two best.
But there is a little bit like Nick Young was saying. He was like, that shit's real about wanting to win. Awards, individual awards.
Because of you, yeah.
He was like, Steph wanted to win it. He was like, the year before, KD had already won it. So he was like, they even talked about it. Like, KD was trying to give it to Steph, but Steph played so bad one game. KD was like, I don't know what the fuck you want me to do.
Yeah, I'm not going to lose games. It's funny because now I saw last night, because I was looking at the last 5 champions. When Steph won in 2022, that finals, you would have thought that was his first finals. The way he was crying, I think he knew, fuck, I did it. I'm the MVP.
This is his legacy.
Without question.
He was like, finally, my legacy is a bit more cemented. Okay, I'm one of the best players of all time, and my finals MVP shows that. Honestly, I think you could have given him that finals MVP in 2015 as well. Iggy played above what he usually plays, but I still don't think he played as well as Stephen Curry played. You know what I mean?
You know what's funny to me is...
I'll say this. The KD Warriors, KD was the MVP of that.
There's no question.
No, there's no question.
You guys don't win another finals without him in those years.
Jaylen Brown didn't make an All-NBA team. Did he make the All-Star game? Or was he a reserve, or did he make it?
Reserve.
He was a reserve. And I don't care, say what you want. He was the best player in the 7-game series that mattered the most. That guy needs way more respect. He got the highest contract ever. He did against Game 7 against Miami. Jason Tatum gets hurt. If you're that guy, we need you to win us that game. They kind of, I don't want to say.
I think this year he wins us that game.
Yeah. No, he would for sure. That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying like you have to. Like, we took a risk to an extent, giving you the highest contract ever, a little bit, based off of, like I said, the highest contract ever, you better fucking win us that Game 7. Well, how about I won you Finals MVP? It's like, all right, bud, like, you deserved it. You know, that's what I'm saying. Like, he did take the steps, because, I mean, remember last year, they were like, we wanted the ball in Jaylen Brown's hands. It's like, I think he takes that shit personally, and I think, like, in the next Finals, maybe at the beginning, Jason Tatum will be a little bit more nervous, or a little, like, still a little nervous, but I think the next, like I said, I think
what
the
does
next
Jalen
Finals
have to be nervous about?
Who?
Jalen.
Exactly.
He's won the championship, and he's
motivated.
won Eastern Conference Finals MVP, and he's won Finals MVP, and everyone has recognized him as what he is. If you ask anybody, I think if you ask any player in the NBA right now, what award would you as an individual want to win most next year? They would say Finals MVP.
That's it. Yeah.
And that's what Jaylen Brown just won. He's fine.
No, my thing is, like I said, I think it's motivation.
I don't get his criticism. When has he ever deserved it?
It's because it's just like, it's easy to say because, like I said, we did lose that Game 7, in part because he even said, he's like, yeah, that killed me all summer that Jason got hurt and I am supposed to be that guy. We're Batman and like I didn't do my thing. But he came back and won Finals MVP. Like I said, he's 27 years old. I mean,
and then after that though, the Nuggets win the Finals and people are like, yeah, Jamal Murray's the best
Robin,
second best Robin in the league.
That's the thing too. Is like Jaylen Brown's not a Robin
and everything like that. I'm like, Jaylen Brown is the star on almost every other team.
Like name me besides the Nuggets, besides the top 5 guys in the league. What team is he not the best player on for a team? Like especially both ways.
There was this the best duo was Kawhi and Paul George, and that's Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum's ceiling. I'm like, well, their ceiling's above both of those guys.
They have a ring,
especially Paul George.
Paul George is the 4th. On my list now, he's 4th.
Yeah.
I'll put a fully healthy Kawhi above Jaylen and Jason.
I don't even know. I don't know what a fully healthy Kawhi looks like now.
Like at a certain point,
but I can't. So it's like, okay,
I'll put a fully healthy Derrick Rose over LeBron James.
Yeah, exactly.
You never were.
That's the thing. So it's like,
and also like, let's say if you told me right now Kawhi's going to be healthy the rest of his career, it's like I don't know what he'll look like after all the injuries he has had.
Yeah,
though.
Exactly. But let me ask you real quick. I'm just going to run through it. So Boston, obviously, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown are on that team. Is Jaylen Brown the best player on the Knicks?
Yeah. Yes.
Milwaukee, Giannis above him a little bit. So
but Giannis needs a Jaylen Brown though.
He does, exactly. But I'm saying in terms of who
Giannis is better.
He elevates.
He's better than Dame.
He's better than Chris Middleton ever was.
Giannis is arguably the best player in the league. So yes.
Cleveland, he's the best player.
Yeah.
Orlando, best player.
You're not going to go in the East and find anybody.
Maybe
else.
Embiid. Maybe.
I don't think so.
Just injuries, like you have to play.
Give me Jaylen Brown.
Embiid would win a championship
Jimmy Butler,
if he's the Robin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler?
No.
Chicago, Atlanta, Brooklyn, Toronto.
No.
So one team in the East. OKC, he's the best player on that team. Shai Gilgeous can go fuck himself.
Yeah. That whole SGA better than Jason Tatum talk was fucking absolute blasphemous.
Because here's the thing. What we learned if you watch this NBA Finals, you learned, defense still wins championships.
Right.
And Jaylen Brown showed that.
How many games did we win this playoffs and we held teams to under 100
I think almost
points?
every one except 1 or 2.
Except the Pacers series.
Yeah. The Pacers series. The Pacers the only that team can fucking score. That is the epiphany of an offensive team.
Wins. Yeah, the Pacers put up buckets, and we were like, we'll just put up buckets instead then, too.
Yeah.
Denver.
I'll give him Jokic. I'll give Jokic.
Minnesota, I don't
I would give JB. I think Ant, when he's 27, sure.
A 22-year-old Ant.
But not 22, yeah.
Clippers, no. Like you said, those guys are hurt.
Kawhi
Dallas, we just did that, so
no.
Phoenix, say no. LA, I'll give LeBron James just for right. I'll just give it to say 3.
Yeah.
New Orleans, Sacramento, Golden State, Houston, Utah, Memphis. No, there's 3 teams in the league that he wouldn't be the second best player on. That he would be the second best player on. You're going to tell me that guy's not an All NBA. You can't make one of 3 All NBA teams.
Right.
Like, what are we talking about? And like you said, he won Finals MVP. There's just a weird thing with him.
I heard people talking. They're like,
it's a numbers game. His numbers weren't great. It's like his numbers aren't going to be great when there's 7 great players on the team.
Yeah.
He would actually look worse scoring 30+ points.
Put him on the Magic. He'd be, like who made the All NBA teams? Was there anybody on those teams that didn't make the playoffs or anything like that? I'm trying to think of.
I'm gonna look him up.
Jalen Brunson. Okay, put Jaylen Brown on the Knicks. He averages 32 points a game.
Well, that's the problem.
He's the guy. He's the guy. He's the only guy.
Do you want to average 35 points and lose in the first or second round, or do you want to average 23 as the second?
It's the same in every sport.
Player and win a championship.
Yeah.
It's these guys. It's Dak Prescott syndrome.
Yeah.
Do you want to be the highest paid quarterback, or do you want Super Bowls?
Says Jokic headlines first team. I'm like terrible with finding these all like these type of awards things. So the first team was Giannis, Luka, Shai Gilgeous, Nikola Jokic and Jason Tatum. I think over Luka and Shai, he should be on there. Especially like next year. Here's what we'll do. Next year, if he's not on this list, you can go fuck yourself.
On the first team, for the stats and what they did for the team, I'll give it to those guys.
It's the first team. It's
like
this is where I get pissed off. Second team, Jalen Brunson, Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, Anthony Edwards, and Kawhi Leonard. Like, let's get fucking serious for a second.
And like I said, put him on those teams. What does he do? He fucking hoops. He hoops more than those guys.
Could you imagine the Suns replacing Bradley Beal with Jalen Brown?
They would still be playing probably right now.
Yeah, they'd probably be in the NBA Finals.
At least one guy plays defense.
And can score like Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
He's just not isolation. I'm going to cross you over.
Bradley Beal
he
can't
still
score
will.
well.
Right.
Bradley Beal is an inefficient scorer.
The third team was Devin Booker, Steph Curry, Halliburton, LeBron, and Sabonis, who I feel like Sabonis could probably be second team above Anthony Davis. That's a big guy. You can switch them, whatever.
Fantastic.
But of the 12, guards and forwards, I feel like he's better than at least 9. Like we just said.
Sabonis is a guy too that it's going to take like him winning a Finals MVP or going somewhere deep for people to go, oh shit. This guy's the real deal.
That guy can fucking play.
His numbers are crazy. His play is crazy. It translates to the core. Everything. He can rebound. He can score. He can pass. Fan. Yeah, so am I.
No, I love Sabonis.
If we replace Al with Sabonis,
he doesn't fit that role as well. We don't need a Sabonis. We need Al Horford. We need, like if you said we'll replace Al Horford with Naz Reid, I'd be like, yep, that's exactly what we need out of that type of player.
That's the thing too. And this year, just let Kristaps sit till May.
That's the only question mark for me again going into next season is if everybody's healthy, is Kristaps going to be healthy now?
I don't care what seed we are at this. That's like the thing. Like I said, we won one. We could be like the Heat and be the 8 seed, win the play-in game, and go to Milwaukee. And it's like, damn, they just beat us in 6 games. It's like, yeah, dude, they don't give a fuck where they play now. They've won on the road. They've won at home. They've won at finals. Like you said, make sure these like Kristaps. Like that's why I said, play Tillman a lot this upcoming season. Play these guys and keep Kristaps healthy because that guy always runs into something. He always does.
He's too big for his own good. We did our best to
keep him healthy this year.
We did. That's what I'm saying.
That's what scares me about Victor and whatnot. It's like you can't be that big and be that healthy.
Kristaps, every time he lands, you're like, dude, those long fucking.
But every time you land, you're like, oh my god.
But even Embiid's muscly. Like he's not skinny,
but he gets hurt
down on shit. And
that's what I'm saying.
It's
just awkward to because you jump.
You're not supposed to be that big.
The only guy that is like a Tim Duncan because he didn't play athletic.
But he does not as big as these guys.
No, but he also just didn't move like that.
That's what I'm saying. He's like he played nice, easy pace.
The guy will say is Shaq. He's a guy that's as big as all these guys, and he would just stayed in the paint, walked in up and down the floor.
He's just like a different. He's not.
And it's also like he's not like
that's a generational player.
That's just you'll never run into.
But I do think Tim Duncan's that the thing is like.
But Tim Duncan's he's 7'1". He's not a big built guy, but he wasn't running up and down the court. He was a great defender, but he wasn't
at his own speed.
He didn't play athletic. Yeah, that's what they said. Like he just slowed the game down. His offense was bank it in, defense. I know when you're going to shoot. I'll block you.
Positioning. And
KG was the athletic power forward.
Yeah,
where it's like
I'm gonna move.
Yeah.
Some of these guys you can see it's natural the way they move. Kristaps, you're like he's not supposed to be moving like that. He's way too big to be moving like that.
Make this a short. I love that I say that. So rank the last 5 NBA champions in order from 1 to 5, best to worst. 2020 Lakers, 2021 Bucks, 2022 Warriors, 2023 Nuggets, and 2024 Celtics.
I'll easily say the Lakers are the worst.
I want to start that off by saying, as a Boston fan, I know it's whatever, but I genuinely think, like I said, with this team this year, they've all won the finals now. If you put us in a series against any of those 4, I think we beat them.
Yeah. The Boston had the best record of all those teams overall.
Right. Yeah.
They had the best playoff record.
I would say almost. I will put it basically in order. I do think it goes Celtics first, Nuggets second, Bucks third, Warriors fourth, then Lakers fifth.
Yeah.
That's the order I have it in. Billy said Nuggets or Celtics 1 and 2, Bucks third, Warriors fourth, Lakers fifth. I'm interested to see what people say about that because, like I said, depending on the team you're a fan of, we're going to get some fucking cocksuckers who are like, that Lakers team would beat the Warriors with KD mixed with the Shaq and Kobe
if
Lakers.
There was every year you say this was an easy fucking Mickey Mouse run. It was the fucking Mickey Mouse fucking finals. That
the bubble, yeah.
They said, I showed Danny a thing that I got on my sleeper app. It said, which finals would you rather have? The Celtics championship this year or the bubble Lakers championship? And I was like, what the fuck? Like,
well, and that's the thing about the Nuggets team is like I'm not thinking about this year. I'm thinking about when they won the championship with Bruce Brown and Jeff Green and everything. Like they had
that team's good.
Team.
That's why I said
this year they're not deep.
No, that's why I said to Danny, I was like,
and Jamal Murray.
I know the Celtics kind of just did this, but like the Celtics beat a 50-win team finally at the end in the Mavericks. The Nuggets didn't beat a 50-win team. They played, and I'm not putting the Nuggets down for that. I'm not putting the Nuggets down for playing an 8 seed because you're the 1 seed.
They don't hang an extra banner because you won against 50 teams.
You played an 8 seed because you're the 1 seed. You played the 5 seed because you played the winner of the 4-5 series. And then you played a 7 seed because the 7 seed beat the 2 seed in the Lakers. And then you played the 8 seed because that's who made it in the finals out of the East. That's not your fault. It's your fault because you made the 1 seed because you're that good of a team. But as soon as they came, that very similar team the following year, they lost Bruce Brown and Jeff Green. Yes, they were huge players for them. As soon as they ran into a tough team with 50 wins, they lost. And Jokic has never beat a 50-win team and all that. So I'm like, once they got put to the test, that's why I'm still saying they're a great team. They're right behind the Celtics. That's why I'll take the Celtics over them. I'll be interested to see next year when this same exact, almost replica Celtics team plays a good 50-win team in the East, whatnot, what happens?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, though, is like,
fully healthy.
You got to be, but that's not our, like, some Boston Connor said it because they were like, they said we didn't play anybody. Did Joe Mazzulla walk into those teams' locker rooms and break Donovan Mitchell's ankle?
Like, exactly what I was saying at work.
He probably could.
Yeah, I'm sure he could.
Psychopath.
What were we supposed to do about that? Like,
well, it's like when, but then it's like they talk about the LeBron Cleveland teams that had 60 wins and lost, didn't make the finals to play Kobe. You know, It's like, who cares about the wins? It was LeBron carrying that team. Okay, so now the amount of wins don't matter.
That's why I said the win. It's funny how certain things matter to people. Like me, I try to be as straightforward as I can. I'm worse with my own team. Like, with the Dallas Cowboys, I can't stand them.
When we lost Game 4, I had all the confidence in the world, but I was also like, I'm used to being disappointed. This team's going to be the first team to get reverse swept.
They're not going to win it.
Just because
I told you Game 5, like Danny said, like end of third quarter, he's like, holy shit, we're about to win the finals. And I was like, dude, I'm just not convinced yet. And Mom's like, this game's over. And I'm like, I know, like game fucking 3, we were up by 21 with 9 minutes left.
Relationships and you get cheated on all 10 of them. That 11th relationship, you're like, when's this bitch going to cheat on me?
Yeah, like what? Like when is this happening? You know what I mean? I do have a question though. Is Drew Holiday's updated resume? Is he a Hall of Famer? 2-time NBA champion. Him and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope are the only 2 NBA players with 2 championships in the 2020s. His updated resume: 2-time NBA champion, 2-time All-Star, 3-time All-Defensive First Team, 3-time All-Defensive Second Team, 1 gold medal, probably be 2 after the summer. Averages 16, 4, and 6 for his career. And he has he doesn't have a Defensive Player of the Year. He should have one of those.
He's going to go Bears to him.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
He's going to go down as like there's a few players out there that have never won Defensive Player of the Year. I believe Scottie Pippen's one of them. Kobe Bryant's one of them. Tim Duncan's one of them. That you go, how have they not? And he's going to go down as one of those.
And I think too, like I think he has the highest winning percentage in the NBA right now.
Currently, yep.
For all players, like that's not what the
since 2021, I think, or something like that.
I was seeing Bucks fan on Reddit. They were like, we didn't lose that trade. Drew is only good as a 4th or 5th option. Like we needed a Dame, and it's like, plus Drew's old.
Did we?
How old is Dame?
Yeah,
and it's like,
what is Dame like?
So you want a negative on defense as opposed to a guy who won you a championship, mind you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then it's like,
and was a pivotal part in getting you.
Because I saw people in the Celtics subreddit, they were talking about like during the regular season, like, why did we pay Drew all this money? We just extended him 4 years. And I'm like, wait till you get to the playoffs.
Right. He's not going to score 30 a game.
He averaged 17 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds, and 2.2 steals for them in the finals.
And how many turnovers?
Yeah, exactly.
Less than 2?
2.
2 exactly. And he shot, for the playoffs, he shot 50, 40, 95.
That's insane.
And it's like, yeah, okay, his usage rate isn't that great, but like, who gives a fuck?
And through 2 games of the finals this year, he had 38 points, so he's averaging 19 a game, right? Through the first two games, 19 rebounds, so he's averaging 9.5 rebounds a game, 8 assists, which is 4 a game, no turnovers through games 1 and 2. The last player to do that was Michael Jordan in '98, and I'm not saying he's Michael Jordan or anything like that, but if not now, when? It's the finals, and this guy does that. Like that's just the type of situation where that has to mean something.
Sorry. I think we've touched enough on this finals hour of finals talk. I mean, obviously,
I don't think we touched enough.
Obviously, we're Celtics fans, but I think we need to hit some trivia and then hit some Champions League because that is very important at the moment. Or Champions League, Euro Cup.
We've been gone a while, so there's quite a few fucking trivia, but I think they're good ones.
Oh, by the way, the Pistons fired Monty Williams 1 year into his 7 year, $65 million.
That's how you build it. That's how you build a culture.
That's pretty sweet.
I don't know how that works, but if they still have to pay him, that's the dumbest fucking thing.
Oh no, they have to pay him. That's
so
not,
fucking.
They got rid of him. He didn't leave. Like
he's like, what was he supposed to coach? That team to 72 wins this year.
The psychopath that tries to fight everybody.
I get that having the worst record in like franchise history is probably like fire the coach, but it's also like you have the worst team in franchise history.
What is your roster setup? Now, if Joe Mazzulla wins 12 games with this team, then you fire him.
Yeah, I mean,
we were in the Eastern Conference Finals and people wanted him fired last year.
Yeah,
and now he's the NBA champion.
The Pistons hiring him wasn't going to do much for you.
But it just shows like good franchise. Like you have Robert Kraft and a Bill Belichick versus Jerry Jones and a carousel of coaches.
Yeah. Pittsburgh Steelers have had 3 head coaches in their entire existence.
Yeah, and it's like
that's fucking unbelievable.
Mike Tomlin's never finished under 500. It's like
people laugh at, but I'm like, I mean, what's like? Look at it. Like last year, that
do you want the first pick or do you want to be 3 games away from a Super Bowl?
I mean, I'd rather be like you said. He gave them a chance. They were in the playoffs. You know, they just ran into the best quarterback in the league, and Josh Allen.
They were also the Lakers, where it's like we just keep blowing shit up. Yep. Since Kobe 2010, how many championships do they have?
Well, half of one.
And also, like that Steelers team that you said, like he doesn't build the roster, so they look at the roster and go, "Yeah, this is not the best in the AFC."
He got to the playoffs with what were his quarterbacks last year?
Mason Rudolph, and did they have
Mitchell Trubisky?
I mean, fucking.
They had Mason Rudolph for the last 4 or 5 games, including the playoff game, and T.J. Watt was out during the playoff game.
And now they have Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Like,
or Justin Fields is struggling.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
But they've built their O-line was terrible last year. They drafted O-line. They added Russell Wilson. I can guarantee they're better this year.
The problem is they draft great wide receivers. They just don't do a mental evaluation on any of these fucking guys.
Before your trivia real quick, mine's very fast. 2 franchises that haven't gone to the playoffs in the last 8 years in the NFL. Who are they?
They haven't in the last 8 years.
Yes.
Denver Broncos.
Yep.
New York Jets.
Yep. Make that a short as well.
Bang.
Both those teams.
It's the quickest short ever.
Yeah, well, that's good though.
Send it to Michael as well.
I was going to. I heard it on the Lombardi line because they were asking about, like the Jets are like the second favorite to win the AFC East and this. And he's like, I'm just not.
A team that hasn't made the playoffs in 8 years is going to win the AFC East.
Yeah, or just like, win the Super Bowl. Like they're like, because they're talking about Aaron Rodgers and expectations, and they're like, this team hasn't made the playoffs in 8 years. Like, let's get there first. Like, Jesus fucking
I do
Christ.
understand that they added a good wide receiver. They added a good O-lineman. They drafted a good O-lineman. Their defense is seriously top 5 in the league, and they've added Aaron Rodgers. So that's huge. That is massive. And Aaron Rodgers with a top 10 defense in the NFL, he's had one, and he won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
So I get all that, but it's also like this is a 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers now, and it's also one coming off a torn Achilles. So
and high on drugs.
We'll see. What
you got for us?
I'm definitely not picking them to go to the Super Bowl. I could see them going as far as the AFC Championship, but the Chiefs, the Ravens, some of these teams
the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl.
Why we even did
until Patrick Mahomes dies.
Yeah, or until like he gets hurt or someone gets hurt.
Or Andy Reid eats his fat ass to death.
Yeah. Well, even then, that if they get rid of him and get Bill Belichick, then we're really fucked.
I don't think so.
I know so. Especially now he's far enough in Mahomes where I feel like he legitimately could just say what the defense is in and make whatever.
Yeah, at a certain point, like Tom Brady wasn't the guy the first few Super Bowls, the first couple Super Bowls, the first few years, but eventually you figure it out.
I'm on the field and I know what I'm doing.
I think the Bucs won it with him as the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Byron
because as soon as fucking
he left, they went to
Byron
shit.
left, which Bruce Arians was like, I'm gonna get the fuck out early.
Oh, you have to.
And look, my legacy is gonna look.
I am
great.
a little surprised Horford didn't retire because I feel like maybe in his head, and I know we could go back to back.
He said he wants to play in his 40s.
Oh well, it's
the reason why I'm not surprised is because of how good he looked. So if you still got it, what are you gonna do?
Also, like we
said,
the
slide him down the
expectations.
bench a little bit.
This is what I was saying to Dre. I was saying to Dre, where I was like, "What are you gonna do? Like, what are you gonna do with your life next year? Might as well play in the NBA."
Yeah. Well, also he has 1 year left and he has $10 million left on it.
Yeah. You're not turning that down, I guess.
I'm gonna call off the bench for one of the best.
Do you want to play? Do you want to play 19 minutes a game next year in about 70 games? Make $10 million and then go to the playoffs and probably win the championship, or do you want to just retire and I don't know, go to Cancun?
There's multiple players that have done this, but 2 I know for sure are Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Bill Russell to win multiple NCAA championships and multiple NBA finals. And obviously, like I think Russell and Kareem won like 3 NCAA in a row, and we know how many fucking champions they won.
Yeah. I saw the other day too. They asked who's a better franchise, Boston or like Lakers or Celtics. The Lakers have been to like 32 finals, and they've won 17. We've been to 23 or something. Like we've only lost 5 finals, or 24, I think it is. And I'm like, A, we have more championships. B, we have it in less appearances. But Stephen A was like, well, they've been relevant longer. And I'm like, well, they've also won less.
The
so
Lakers,
how the fuck does that work?
The Lakers were there at the same fucking time. You know what they were doing? They were getting their shit pushed in them. All those 50s, 60s, you know where the Lakers were? Getting their shit pushed in by the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, I mean, Magic and Kobe have 5 of those each. 5 each. That's 10 right there.
Yeah, but back to Al Horford where it's like, well, he retired because he's getting, it's like, dude, who in what career do you retire at 37?
Right.
I think he'll be fine until he's 40.
Yeah, well, like I said, too, like Billy said, if just Kristaps or we get another guy where it's kind of like,
we need him.
You could take tonight off. Like,
if Xavier Tillman can take that next step.
We're going to win 50 games. We'll be all right, Just win 50. Because, like, when it comes to the playoffs, it's not like, oh, man, luckily Al Horford played 25 minutes a game and he's in good. It's like, bro, he's ready to go.
You just need him for those moments where they're, like, shitting their pants and he's like, all right. Like they said during the run the Mavs took on Game 2, I think it was, he got in there, he goes, everybody calm down. Even though he was the one that almost ran the fuck out of the building.
Yeah, that was Game 3, yeah. I don't know what the fuck that was.
He calmed everyone down, and then he fucking shoots himself.
I just think next year what we should do is trade Svi, Mikhail, Luke, trade 2 or 3 pieces and a couple of those draft picks, and get Marcus Smart back on the team.
No.
Yeah, 100%.
You can't.
I'm not Svi Mikhailuk's biggest fan. I was just saying when Peyton Pritchard in, I was like, you might as well just put Svi Mikhailuk in.
Oh, they did. And that guy fucking stinks.
Yeah, but it was down by 72.
Well against, though.
Huh?
He was playing against their fucking end of the bench, too.
Yeah.
And he was looking like shit.
That's awesome, though, that he's made $12 million in his career.
Good for him. I'm never mad at that.
27 years old, $12 million, and he's literally done nothing in his whole career.
He's a champion.
Like, I mean, like, he hasn't picked up, he hasn't picked up a tool.
Jordan Walsh,
imagine being him. He's drafted. He plays for the Maine Red Claws, and then he's just sitting there.
Who's the dude that went to UNLV, got drafted by the Warriors, won back-to-back ships, and then he went to the Raptors?
No, it wasn't. Patrick McCaw.
Patrick McCaw's first 3 years in the NBA, won 3 NBA titles.
Back-to-back champions.
Yeah.
I retire then.
I think he played a combined 42 minutes in all those finals.
Yeah. And probably made $7 million, and he was like, I had the greatest career of all time, right?
Right. Like, I'm Kobe level 3 Peach.
Yeah.
Like, you can't tell me anything.
I actually went to another team and still, Kobe didn't do that.
Right.
Kobe didn't move teams.
Think about the luck to get traded to the Raptors, and you're like, fuck, man, DeMar and fucking, I gotta go play with these losers.
Lowry.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, actually, they just traded for Danny Green and Kawhi Leonard.
And then you're like, oh shit, I'm in the finals again against my old team. Like, fuck, like this is pretty cool. I think he would have got a ring either way because he got traded.
Did he get traded during the season?
No idea.
I don't.
Yeah.
Oh no, I specifically remember him being. There was like him being one of the guys. They were like, the Warriors can choose to give him a ring if they want to.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you're a piece of shit. You know, like
Anderson Varejao had that too with somebody. Might have been when he got for Cavaliers. He got traded to the Warriors.
Yeah, and he tore his ACL, and I think the Cavs won that series.
I think that guys that deserve that went through training camp, even to get traded at the trade deadline.
It depends.
Like,
if Kyrie Irving comes to Boston and demands his way out, and we trade him to the Nets, and it's like, geez, dude, you just told us you'd resign here. Why are you being a piece of shit? And we win the finals, it's like, go fuck yourself. But if you traded Pat McCaw for like, whatever it was,
like the guy
you just add into a package.
The guy Lamar
like,
Stevens that we traded for Xavier Tillman. It's like, well, he didn't. And I guess when he got to the Grizzlies, he turned up. Like he started for them and shit like that and everything.
Also, like a guy like, who did we trade for Derek White? Josh Richardson.
Yeah,
Josh Richardson.
Someone else too. Oh, Romeo Langford. It's like, well, when we traded you, we got better. So if anything, you owe us a ring. Like we should definitely not give you one because losing you benefited us.
I mean.
If anything, actually, we owe you a ring because you had the trade value of Derek White.
I love Danny Ainge, but people quit trading with him, and he held on to picks. Brad Stevens does not give a fuck about these picks.
Mm-hmm.
He got some. He got 2 first-round picks for Kristaps. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he got 2 first-round picks.
Like,
so it's like...
And we gave up, what,
the first move he made
was
was he traded Kemba and a first for Al Horford.
That was my problem with the picks with Danny Ainge was, okay, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, 3rd overall picks, of course, keep those. Outside of that, though, when it's like the 15th overall pick, and you feel like you have a team right now, like you signed Kyrie, you signed Gordon Hayward, you have Al Horford, you have Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. You feel like this team's ready to go. Fucking trade all those picks for depth and whatnot.
Yeah,
you don't need you need the team now. You don't need the picks for the future.
Well, also he kept signing guys like IT. I love him.
Like, would you be mad?
Undersized point guard, Kyrie Irving, undersized point guard, Kemba Walker, undersized point guard. Derek White's our point guard.
Yeah, he's 6'4".
6'4". He's one of the best
defensive
players.
Strong little
Brad Stevens was like, I'm not gonna fuck these guys. Like I got fucked with these point guards that are just score heavy and can't play defense. Yeah. Everybody's gonna be 6'4" plus.
Yeah, the flashy point guard isn't as good as what we got now.
And then, but it's like, yeah, Brad did.
But like, would you be mad if Brad traded our next 5 first-round picks for like, I'm just gonna make up a name, but like Kawhi Leonard? I'd be like, no, we're gonna win the finals next year.
If you get every pick to 2050,
even Even 2 first-round picks for a Nas Reed to come off the bench.
Right. Yeah,
That's why I said
exactly.
it doesn't have to be. Like,
I'm not worried about our starting 5. I'm worried about just keeping the depth for injuries.
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
Nas
If
Reed
you said, hey, we gave
sub
up
in for a Kristaps and keep Allen.
Celtics just gave up 3 first-round picks, but they got Nas Reed. I'd be like, well, the Celtics are going to win the NBA Finals next year.
Like Kristaps, just fucking put you go to Latvia.
It was like when Bruce Brown in the trade deadline when they were like, they're going to buy out Bruce Brown. I was like, I hope we pick him up.
Yeah, you said that.
I would literally say to Kristaps, if we got Nas Reed, stretch from now until June, and then be ready for the finals because we got Nas Reed.
He sat out for a month and came.
I watched the Knicks. I'm like, a Josh Hart off the bench would be great. I don't want him starting for my team because it's like he's not that consistent. But off the bench, he's gonna get boards. He's gonna hit some timely threes.
I want efficient 3-point shooters though. I feel like that's
not at all.
That's where the Celtics are next level.
Yeah, we have it everywhere.
Brad doesn't get a guy that's going to go.
His defense and hustle does definitely make up for his inefficiency 3-point shooting. But like a Dante DiVincenzo might be better, where it's like that guy could trap up for real.
Yeah.
Can he play defense though?
He can play some defense. I think once you get to Boston, you learn how to play defense though.
Yeah.
Also.
Or it's just I was going to say it's like a thing where like all these other 4 guys are. Am I going to be that piece of shit who's not? Like that gets to you as well.
I didn't realize how good Kristaps was at defense.
Because like you really think Sam Hauser's a great defender before he got to Boston? No chance.
Now he's a 3-and-D wing, and any team's going to be like, how much can I sign him for?
Don't we have him for like 4 more years? 2 more years, I think at least.
Rookie contract, probably.
Rookie contract. So
I know we have Peyton for 4. Peyton's locked.
I think this team. I don't think there's a guy that played like over. Let me see here. The minutes per game. I don't think we have a guy that played over 10 minutes a game, which is Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, and then all the first 6 that we lose. I don't think we're losing Peyton, Sam Hauser, or any of the first 6.
The top 9 guys are the
top 8.
Top 9 minute getters, 8 or 9 minute getters are here for at least. Well, I think there's someone that's here for 1 more year. I think it's Derek White or something.
Derek White. Our top 8 are locked in for this year.
For this year,
Derek White has 1 more year, and Jason Tatum obviously has 1 more year.
Yeah, well,
we'll extend those guys. O'Shea Brissett, it has a player option.
Yeah, where are you going, bud?
Xavier Tillman and Luke Cornett are unrestricted free agents. I feel like you re-signed both of those guys.
And only Drew and Al are over 30.
Yep, and Drew and Al. Al has 1 more year. You can extend him. Kristaps we re-signed in the offseason, and obviously Jalen and Drew we signed during this season. So it's like you give Hauser, JT, and White an extension, and then I think you give Luke and Xavier like a little 2-year.
Can you do a thing where you tell Derek White like, hey, we'll sign you for 10 years and we'll pay you $250,000 for the first 8 years, and then the last 2 we'll pay you $25 million each.
We'll pay you max
like
contract,
a void contract type of deal.
Yeah,
like the Shohei Ohtani.
All I know is our owner said because we're gonna be in the second apron or whatever, and it's like big, like you get fined like a tax for that. And he said we'll be paid in parades.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I love that.
Clearly, our owner and our GM do not give a fuck about playing players because they're like, we want to win. I mean, if we could get 20-17 by like 2026, 2027, it's like perfect. Like be a couple championships ahead of the Lakers.
Yeah.
So if JT is 30 years old with 3 rings or 4 rings, I'll be fucking knowing everyone's gonna hear it from me.
Alcohol poisoning.
Yeah.
Last question before we do the trivia because we should move on to that. Another question I heard, which is good. Do you think this is just an all-time good run by Boston, or do you think this has a chance to be an all-time team?
This has the chance. And I'm not just biased here. I didn't say this about the bubble Lakers. I didn't say it about the Bucks. I didn't say it about the Nuggets. I didn't say it about who else is in there.
The
Warriors. Obviously the Warriors were at the tail end. This is the chance, if you play your cards right and everyone locks in and everything's good to go, of the start of a dynasty. This year was the start of the dynasty.
I think you could win 3 in the next 5 to 6 years.
Yes.
Like I said, though, this doesn't feel like a
one and done.
It doesn't feel like a super team. It feels like a Spurs dynasty.
Yes.
We have all-time greats here and these role players that do their job, but everybody really just wants to do their job. Tim Duncan's fine with averaging 10 and 10, and Manu and Tony Parker averaging 20-plus points.
Yeah, they don't give a
Jason
fuck.
Tatum's fine, like, I'll score 12 points and 12 assists, and Jalen can go up. Derek White can score 33 points and hit 12 threes or whatever. I don't give a fuck. Like, they just want to win and do their job.
I'm visioning it now.
Because Joe seems more like a Pop
yes,
and a Spoelstra than like a Tyler, a Steve Kerr, where it's like, just you guys just make it happen.
Yeah, I'm picturing in my head right now, and I could be wrong, but mark this fucking down. Mark my words. I'm picturing next year we're back in the finals, and Jason Tatum, he's over everything, and he is just
hooping,
dicing the other whoever we're playing up, and he wins the finals MVP, and then it's like, all right, these guys both did it back-to-back years now. Like,
and JB won one and JT won one.
Yeah, think about JT. 2022 loses the finals, he gets shit on. 2023, we're supposed to be this fucking super team again and everything like that.
Down 3-0, which was worse than the Game 7 loss.
But everybody's still shitting on you because, like, you're down 3-0, your coach should be fired. Mm-hmm. So this year coming into it, it's like you have all these superstars that haven't won shit, getting all this love. Embiid gets more love than him. Luka, SGA now even coming into it, and JT's like Ant was Ant was Michael Jordan.
Yeah, no, he was.
And then JT's like he's not even a top 10. What was that Mad Dog guy?
Dude, I was just gonna say because Stephen A. yesterday has Jason Tatum in his top 5 NBA players, and he said, "No, I can change my mind." And I'm like, "Oh well." You know, he's like, he's done it a lot. Now he's won a finals. And I'm like, so everything he did just because he didn't win the finals at 26 now propels him to top 5.
Yeah.
But Mad Dog said Embiid, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Jokic, Steph Curry, and there was someone else. And I'm like, at least 3 of those guys you got to put him above right now. He's 5 years old.
There's some dudes that Tatum, like Embiid, that he's dog-walked in the playoffs his whole career.
But now they've turned it into...
He scored 50 on Embiid in Game 7.
Because Jalen, shit pisses him off.
Oh, yeah.
JT acts like he doesn't hear it, and then after this finals, because he's very well...
He's been tweeting, he's been talking.
Spoken in his interviews, that finals interview, I was like, he doesn't know what to say.
No, he doesn't.
He's like, I'm just...
What they gonna say now?
Yeah, and he's like...
Everyone's just making fun of him for that, too.
He's like, I want to call everybody to fuck off, kiss my ass, and now he's like, I have no pressure now. All I needed is one, and I'm good. Like, I'm cemented.
I'm a champion, now. Like, that's what I said. Like, because, like, Giannis... He might not win ever again. You're like, dude, that finals run. Like, he is a finals MVP.
50 in the finals.
The same shit people talk about Pierce and Garnett. Like, oh, they ride that one out. Okay, how many people have never won one?
Yeah, and that's why like it goes in.
What else are they supposed to ride out?
And you're telling me Pierce and Garnett still aren't top. Garnett's a top 25 player of all time. Pierce is top 50 for sure.
Yeah,
like, they can talk shit to whoever they want to.
This is where I get with the people again. They're going to ride that one out. They won 1 and 3. Oh, that was a super team. Well, when Kevin Garnett tore his ACL, I don't hear you crying about how Tyrese Halliburton was out for the series and Donovan Mitchell. But we lose Kevin Garnett and we just won 1. That's how you can't view it both ways. We didn't have Kevin. How I look at it as if we had Garnett, we probably win another one.
Every franchise and everybody does it anyway too. You know how much I've heard from Laker fans. When was the last time you guys won one? We won one. You won the bubble championship 5 years ago.
And what did you do? You guys would all take Chris Paul over Rajon Rondo's career, but what's the guy you wanted to come fucking save you?
Yeah,
playoff Rondo.
It's just stupid shit that people say.
That's why I said though, it just goes to everything of like you didn't play anyone that wasn't hurt. It's
Rondo didn't score more than 10 points in that finals. Do you not watch basketball?
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's what I'm saying. It's a box score numbers game nowadays.
So who would have scored more points in our finals? Drew Holiday or Damian Lillard?
Yeah, exactly. Damian Lillard would have scored way more points than Drew Holiday. Who would you rather have on your fucking team right there in the Boston Celtics?
It would have been great to see Luka and Dame guard each other.
Yeah.
God, that would have been awful. No, you know what would be great to see?
I was a huge Dame fan.
I want to see next year. I am a Dame fan, but I want to see next year Dame and Drew against each other, and you're going to be like, oh, yeah, this kind of sucks.
And then Dame's going to switch over to Derek White, and it's going to be like, oh, wow, this guy fucking is fucked right now, too.
But Drew's not going to switch off. And if he does, it's like, okay, but I'm just saying, Drew and Dame one-on-one, people would say Dame's going to kick his ass. I'm like, I don't know if I'd be so sure about that. Because if he has a day where he's missing shots or that, jumper's not following.
Drew Holiday's going to take him that low post and cook him anyway.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I can see Drew doing it to Giannis one time too. Mm-hmm. Fucking doing a little trick.
Oh, he's going to get him. Like you said, he was the vet. He was the vet on that team.
I'm getting mine.
He won them a series against Boston. Like he threw the ball off Marcus Smart, got a steal at the end, got a block. Like those plays, people forget about. We watched.
It's the same thing. And then Dame, there was one Dame got by him, tried to get a foul, like lean into him, and Drew stops, and Dame looks and just hits the ground. And misses a shot.
Yeah, it's like
Drew did that against Luka though, and they called the foul against Dame.
Yeah,
which gets Drew though.
I do think Milwaukee does put up probably a really good fight though, because that team is built well.
If they have Adrian Griffin, not if they have Doc Rivers.
That's true. Yeah, if they have Doc Rivers, they're not going to the finals if they win.
Once you told me he coaches too hard and wants us to play defense, I was like, that team's not winning shit.
The Milwaukee Bucks give us the best fight in the East, because they are a very good long team. They've won it before. Giannis has with Giannis, Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis, Chris Middleton, Damian Lillard, like that team is very long, very defensive. The only guy they really have to hide is Dame, and I think he'll have the heart and hustle on defense that Luka didn't this series,
Yeah. And when they're down 2, you're afraid Dame's going to hit a logo 3 to win the game.
And also, like, who outside of Luka on offense, who were they going to? They're not going to. They couldn't go to anyone. Like Brook Lopez can shoot, Bobby Portis can score and shoot. Giannis is obviously Giannis. So outside of Dame and Chris Middleton's Chris Middleton, like they're going to be fine offensively too. They have a lot. They're a lot better structured team than the Dallas Mavericks were.
And then the Sixers.
I think if the Bucks were healthy, that was obviously the Nuggets didn't make it, but like if the Bucks were healthy, that would have been the best series to see. Is Bucks
trying to get the Sixers, trying to get Embiid to recruit Paul George. Go for it.
I would love that.
I mean, you want Paul George in the playoffs?
You need more, like I said, you get.
First of all, Embiid's going to miss all the games, so Paul George is your one option.
It doesn't matter anyway. You have a big 3, like we have a big 7. Like that's just, like at a certain point, you're beat by numbers. Like that's just how that works.
All right, that's it, trivia.
Fuck you, Banner 18, bitch.
That's right.
All right.
We have to fucking edit this. This only goes to 2008.
Yeah, there's a little spot right there. We can pencil it in.
Pencil it in.
We'll get sewn in my shoes too. All right.
You should have done that so you had a spot for another one.
I'm kind of pissed off.
Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't do that.
They thought we'd never win again. Look at us now.
Probably the Laker fan.
Yeah, fucking Laker fan. Since what, 2014 or whenever they got that clown?
Yeah. So Boston and Mavs already had one before this finals, but now there's still 11 teams that have never won an NBA championship. Can you name them?
11 teams haven't?
Have not won an NBA championship.
Well, let me look at the teams.
Yeah, that's a tough one. The Hornets.
Hornets are one.
We'll try to name as many off the top of the dome ski here. Pelicans. Well, does that count as
same team?
Yes.
Pelicans.
I'm just going to New Orleans.
Nope. Pelicans count.
Okay.
That's 2.
Okay. All right, now that kind of threw me off. The Rockets.
Orlando Magic. Did they win one?
Orlando Magic are one.
Indiana Pacers.
Pacers.
Brooklyn Nets.
Nets.
How many do we have?
5.
Wizards.
No, the Wizards won one. The Bullets won one in 75.
Bullets.
Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, the Thunder haven't won shit.
Minnesota Timberwolves.
Timberwolves.
Hawks.
No, I think they won one.
Hawks have won one.
What are you doing over there, Bill?
The Thunder, they count as having one.
That's what I was asking. I didn't know. Sacramento Kings.
Kings have one.
They do. Wow.
Pacers.
I already said them.
You said
Pacers.
them.
How many do we have?
6.
Okay. Oh, the Clippers.
Clippers. No, there's only 10. They have the Nuggets on here for some reason.
The Suns.
Suns.
That's 8.
8.
Portland.
No, Portland has one.
They have one. I knew that. I thought they had one.
Grizzlies.
Memphis. Yep.
Grizzlies.
Jazz.
Yeah, it was
Jazz.
Utah.
Bang.
Wow.
There you go. Yeah, they have the
That
Nuggets
sucks.
on here for some reason.
Saw Jaylen Brown has more playoff wins than like 7 NBA franchises.
Oh, well,
The best was the guy
that
commented.
sucks.
He goes, "Yeah, the Raptors have a ring." Well, now Jalen does too, and he has more wins than your franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So shut the fuck up. And this one is my favorite one because Big Al just came off of it.
That's awesome.
Most career NBA playoff games without a championship ring. Top 5.
Karl Malone.
Karl Malone and John Stockton.
1 and 2.
Charles Barkley.
I'll give you a third one. It's Sam Perkins.
Okay.
4th and 5th are still playing.
Oh,
James Harden.
James Harden's 4th.
Come on.
Russell Westbrook.
Nope.
Chris Paul.
Chris Paul.
Why you
Good
got to
pull.
do James Harden like that?
I don't know. Take him off the list. Put Chris Paul on twice.
I don't want to sound like an asshole. I'm not saying that it makes it right or wrong, but I can't imagine he would have played worse than Kyrie Irving did in this finals.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm just saying I can't imagine.
His defense would have been getting blown by a lot more.
What defense did Kyrie Irving fucking play?
It wasn't a liability as much as I think Harden would have
He's a
been.
liability.
And then this one,
His effort's there.
I don't think Luka had a triple-double since this, but Luka tied Larry Bird, Draymond Green, and Rondo as 6 all-time with 10 playoff triple-doubles. Who's the top 5?
LeBron
Jokic.
James.
LeBron James is number 2 with 28.
Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson number 1 with 30.
Jokic.
Jokic is 3rd with 18.
Oscar Robinson.
No.
Triple doubles?
Yeah,
But he's 3rd with how many?
18.
So it's not too many.
First is Magic Johnson with 30. 2 LeBron, 28. Nikola Jokic is 18 at 3rd.
This is a stupid guess. Tim Duncan.
No.
Okay.
Is it like Wilt
Point
Chamberlain?
guards? No, there's one guy was more early 2000s to late 2000s, and one guy he's at the end of his career.
Right now?
Yeah.
LeBron.
Russ.
Oh, no, you said LeBron.
Russ.
Russell Westbrook is 4th with 12.
Early to late 2000s.
Yeah.
Triple doubles.
Did you get coach of the Mavericks this season?
Jason Kidd.
Jason Kidd with 11.
I knew it.
He's an underrated player, man.
He is. Half
Because
Irish, half black.
he's kind of carried a team, not carried, but taken a team to the finals. And then he's been on a team. He played a major role in a team that won a finals. Great coach. He's a good player.
Once he told that player to run into him, so he spilled his drink.
That was
free
awesome.
timeout.
That was awesome.
And then as a
He
player,
elevated.
Was that with the Nets?
Yes.
Yeah, it was
Why
with
would
the
they
Nets.
ever fire him?
Well, look at him now. Why wouldn't they?
And then when he was a player, he ran into the Hawks coach when he was on the court, and that's a technical foul.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they were down 3 or 4, ran into the guy, got a technical free throw, and then they get the ball back. All right. Luka was the 4th player ever with the 30-point triple-double and the NBA Finals loss. Who are the other 3?
LeBron James.
LeBron James done it twice.
He's always there. Magic Johnson.
Nope.
Wow, really? With
Older.
A Laker?
Kareem.
Older.
Jerry West.
Jerry West.
I was going to say Jerry West.
And this guy, I was shocked to see him on here. He's never won a ring. He gets shit for it all the time. Charles Barkley.
Damn.
What a poor bastard, huh?
He is a poor bastard.
What a carry.
He is a fucking poor bastard for that.
And the Celtics would have joined this list. But only 5 teams in NBA history have lost 2 games or less in a single postseason.
Only 5 games? Only 5 teams?
Only 5 teams, and they played 4 series that postseason.
The Lakers.
Lakers.
2001 Lakers.
2001 Lakers.
That was Lakers. Did the Warriors with KD do that?
2017 Warriors.
Warriors with KD as well.
They each only lost 1.
1 game. Yeah, and
These
the
other
one was the finals against LeBron.
And 1 was the finals against Iverson and Sixers.
Yep. How many more?
3 more teams.
The other Warriors.
Nope.
Another Warriors team didn't
3
do
different teams.
Okay.
Boston.
Nope. Late 80s for one team, early 90s for another team, and late 90s for another team. 91 Bulls went 15-2.
Pistons.
89 Pistons went 15-2.
And what was the last one?
Late 90s.
Late 90s?
The Spurs.
The Spurs went 15-2 in 99.
Damn. That's a fucking... That's
God, I wish they would have went 16-2 though.
That's what I said with Boston. Like this year, injuries aside, like you have to play what's in. And like I said, if you said, okay, hey, dude, first series, game 1, who did we play first series?
Heat.
The Heat. Jimmy Butler was walking in the arena and got stabbed by a fan. And then the second series, Donovan Mitchell got shot on the way to the series. And then the third series, Tyrese Halliburton got shot with a bow and arrow.
Like someone's doing this.
There's something going on.
The Heat didn't have Jimmy Butler and Terry Rozier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, this year I don't think they were beating us. Honestly, the only team
I do hate to say it was the Bucks. I do hate to say that, but like if Jimmy Butler's on the Heat, that doesn't go to even 7 and they don't win the series.
No.
If Donovan Mitchell's there for the Cavs the remainder of the series, it doesn't go to 7, they don't win the series.
They'll win 1 or 2 games.
If Tyrese Halliburton, they were down 2-0. If Tyrese Halliburton's there for games 3 and 4, I still like you could still get. They might win 1. I still think they get swept, but they're not winning the series. And then the finals was the finals.
I think we go up 3-1 into Boston in every series, and we close it out there.
Yeah, I think so too.
So I don't think it. Like I said, the Bucks, and I'll say Sixers because their best player, who's a top 5 player in the league, was hurt, but. That guy actually has the balls to sit on ESPN and say, I was hurt this year. You haven't beat us in a playoff series in your entire career, pal.
We weren't worried about you being
good. We were not worried about the Sixers. I was worried about the Bucks.
Thank God, not thank God, but like we were like, phew, Giannis and fucking Dame are.
Thank God.
Yeah, that scary. Those
made it easy.
Yeah, those scary motherfuckers are out of the way. The Sixers and Joel Embiid being hurt. What the fuck was scared of that?
You could have told me
they lost to the Knicks.
When we were down 3-2 to the Sixers last year, I wasn't that scared.
No.
I was like,
we're gonna upset. Like you should be playing better.
I was like, why are we down 3-2? But could now go win the series.
I said, what are we doing? Why are we down to this team? And that plays a part in like a lot of like, because that's the thing. Jimmy Butler was there.
Wasn't he out?
Who?
We were down 1-0.
Who?
Joel Embiid.
He might have been.
James Harden fucking.
Who had like 40 points?
James Harden.
James Harden. He said like a step back, like go ahead. They were up like 2
he
or 3.
He did that game 5 too.
Yeah.
He
won them 2 of their 3 games.
James Harden is either the best player in the playoffs or the worst player.
Or he will fuck you raw.
So I think it was like he has the most games with like 30+ points and over 60% field goal, but he has also the most games with less than 25%.
But that's how that's gonna work,
When you're the only guy.
When you're the highest usage rate by far.
You're gonna have games where you play like I said, you know what?
That's why Jokic is so good because he does not.
God forbid.
He did against the T-Wolves.
Yeah, he wasn't. He wasn't amazing.
Jokic is a better offensive player than Kobe Bryant all time on Reddit. They were talking that shit, and then he went fucking 6 of 17. I'm like, I thought he was always in.
Those first 3 games, he was not looking good. Those first 2 games, he was not.
Well, that's the
looking
problem is we didn't watch Michael Jordan. He's GOAT, top 2 all time, whatever you want to say. You know how many games he had where it was like, this guy fucking stinks. This guy,
no one's perfect.
This guy's better than Magic and Larry.
LeBron, remember when they were trying to say LeBron should be the Finals MVP in 2016 or 15 rather, 2015 when Iguodala won it and stuff like that. He shot like 38% from the field. He was taking 30 shots a game. Now Kyrie was out. I think Kevin Love might have been out too. So of course he's going to. Of course he's going to. Like, of course, he's the only guy there, so of course he has to do that, and he's going to do that. But it's like, let's not act like he didn't have some bad games in there, some stinkers in there. He had There's plenty of games where he had like 8 turnovers and shot like 30%.
He had the highest usage rate.
Yeah, he's going to do that.
That's what I'm saying. Like James Harden, how many of those games probably after the first quarter was he's like, hey, none of these guys on my team are making fun.
And the thing is,
it's gonna be me or not.
He just needs 1 ring, and that's all forgiven.
Yeah.
Yep.
Any more trivia?
Yeah.
He needs to come to Boston next year.
Only 3 players have ever won the scoring title and been named first team all defense in the same season.
Holy shit.
Scoring title and first team all defense. 3 players.
LeBron James, Michael Jordan.
Not LeBron.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan did it 9 times.
Okay.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Nope.
He didn't get the scoring title the year he won it? Or he went first
James
team?
Harden.
Nope.
First team all defense
and
scoring title. I know it ain't fucking Luka.
Michael Jordan.
Kobe
Bryant did it twice.
Oh, yeah, scoring
Michael
title.
did it how many times?
9.
Okay. I mean, what the fuck?
This is a crazy guess, and I know I'm wrong. Tracy McGrady.
No, older.
Older.
Bill Russell.
Kareem. Magic.
Older.
Jerry West.
Yep.
1970. We got to start guessing him every time.
No, I know.
Jerry West is
Once
a real
he died,
deal.
and I started seeing that, like even before he died, I was like, this guy Uncle Alec might be right. He might be a top 10 all fucking time.
LeBron and Michael Jordan in terms of stats and shit like
I know
that.
LeBron, Kobe, MJ just go bang, bang, bang.
Yeah. Kobe sometimes it's not because it's like
His numbers aren't as crazy as his way he plays.
yeah.
And then this one Eric brought up.
Bang.
But Jason Tatum is the first player to lead an NBA champion in playoff scoring, rebounds, and assists, and not to win the Finals MVP.
Damn.
Who are the 5 players that did win Finals MVP?
Tim Duncan.
LeBron James.
LeBron James did it 3 times.
Michael Jordan.
Nope.
Michael Jordan? No.
Larry Bird.
Larry Bird.
Yeah.
Larry Bird.
Magic Johnson.
Nope.
Nikola Jokic.
Nikola Jokic.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
90s.
Fuck.
90s.
Hakeem Olajuwon.
Hakeem Olajuwon.
Damn.
Sure, let me guess, motherfucker. No hints.
All right, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's some crazy lists to be on. That's like weird, like not like weird stats and shit, but that's like damn.
Kind of makes you think. Like, I think there's just hatred toward. By the way, the voting was there was 11 votes for Finals MVP. 7 went to Jaylen Brown and 4 went to.
I wish it was
Jason
5-5 and then 1 to Drew.
Who said that?
Brian Windhorst, I think.
Brian Windhorst said that. He said I would have
been fine.
He said I would have been fine if they had 5 for Jalen, 5 for Jason, and 1 for Drew Holiday. And I was like, co-MVP.
Dre said that to me at work. He said, "You know who your best player might be is Drew Holiday."
There's no way.
And I was like, "Man, what he brings to the team is so important."
He's one of those that what he brings, but if you said to him, "Hey, you have to play like
there's a difference."
Jaylen Brown.
We need you to be our number
Tatum
1
and
guy
Jaylen
out
Brown
there
off the team.
Yeah.
And you're like,
yeah.
This one, I'll give you one of them. Jason Tatum is the 6th player in NBA history to record 30 points and 10 plus assists in an NBA Finals clinching game. So Jason Tatum and Walt Frazier are 2 of the 6.
Larry Bird.
Nope.
LeBron James.
Nope.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
Okay.
Magic Johnson.
Nope.
Kobe Bryant.
No.
You say 10 assists or just 10?
30 plus points and 10 plus assists in the
Clinching game. Nikola Jokic.
No.
Damn.
Steph Curry.
Steph Curry.
Yep.
Ooh.
Kevin Durant. No, he didn't have 10
Older
assists.
players.
All older players, huh? Magic Johnson.
Jerry West.
Jerry West.
Fucking, we said this just now. We just said
I
it.
know.
One more guy
Older.
in the 80s.
Don't give it to Larry Bird. Did you
No.
say that?
I already said that.
You said that?
I did say Larry Bird.
It's going to be tough for me.
Isaiah Thomas.
Nope.
That's late 80s. Earlier 80s then.
No. Yeah, I guess so.
Early to mid.
Early mid.
I'm trying to think who won championships back then. It's not Kareem.
No. But
That team?
it was on his team.
Michael Cooper.
Not Michael
Had to
Cooper.
be. Byron Scott.
I'm blanking on the name. Robert Ory. No, that's
You're
different.
fucking gonna be pissed if I say it.
I'm blanking on the name.
Because you know who.
Robert Ory.
Lakers. Magic, Kareem, Cooper's teammate.
I'm getting pissed right now.
That's why I don't say it. Kurt Rambis.
No, fucking Kurt Rambis.
I know he fucking knows.
Who is
I don't.
it? Say it.
James Worthy.
James fucking
That's
Worthy.
what I was thinking.
I
That's
said
what
Robert Ory.
I
I
was
was
thinking
James
of one
Worthy.
of those fucking bald idiots who played on
James Worthy. He's right there.
And this is not a trivia, but here's the list of players with 50, 40, 90 in the playoffs during a championship run.
Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday was added to the list. This is with volume, obviously, because Kevin Willis shot 1 for 1 from 3 and 3 for 3 from free throws.
Xavier Tillman can be on the fucking list.
1986, Larry Bird. 51%, 41%, and 93%.
Insanity.
But JJ Redick said Draymond Green's a better three-point shooter than Larry
And here's
Bird.
the thing. Drew Holiday, he plays a big role, and that's impressive. Larry Bird is the guy for your team.
He's
doing
the
that.
Jason Tatum, Luka Doncic of that. Because then in 93 was BJ Armstrong. He shot 52%.
BJ Armstrong had a shot.
51% and 91%.
Damn, Jesus Christ.
And then, of course, Drew Holiday shot 50%, 40%, and 95%.
Just those three? Or
Just those three.
Wow. Larry Bird's a fucking demon.
I mean, 50, 40, 90, and you're the number one option.
Yeah, Finals MVP.
Like,
that's unbelievable.
And Mavs are a deeper team. We had a fucking one of three players in the history shoot 50, 40, 90.
It's just because I'm obviously a Celtics fan, so I see all these things of like we kept our seats, and it's like,
did you see Paul Pierce on Undisputed?
Yeah, oh yeah, that guy's awesome.
He had something in his cup, and they're like, "Is that just coffee?" They're like, "For now, it is."
Yeah,
I was like, "Yeah."
Well, he said he's like, "I've been moving."
I wish someone would have said that when Kendrick Perkins or Haslam said that they're a deeper team. Said how many players made the all defensive team from the Mavericks? Because two guys made it from the Celtics, and it wasn't JB or JT. So how are they deeper?
Well, that's like, how are we a super team? Jalen.
It wasn't Kristaps either.
He goes, "We didn't have anybody in the MVP voting.
No,
only one player made an All NBA team.
Coach of the year wasn't
no Coach of the Year thing. Only two players made the all defensive team.
That was second team,
and we only had one All-Star starter and one All-Star reserve.
We're a super team.
It's just like I said, we're a super team, but when we won the finals, the competition sucked.
I don't think team like this might sound stupid, but I don't think teams are super teams if they're built and not bought. Like the Celtics were built.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Your two best players were drafted to that team.
Don't tell me when we traded for Derek White, everybody was like, "Oh, Derek White's going to be a stud."
When that trade happened, they were like, I almost was like, Josh Richardson's playing well. What are we doing?
Yeah, he's shooting 40% from three.
And now it's like, wow. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't build, like, they didn't buy some super team. You know, first of all the guys that you acquire outside of that, Drew Holiday and Derek White, really are trades. You know, Kristaps Porzingis, those are trades.
You gave up pieces for them.
Yeah. Whereas, like, the Warriors have a team that's basically a super team, like, but again, they were built, and then they buy Kevin Durant.
Two of those championships were not super teams.
We bought two of those championships.
Yeah.
Two of them were.
Mm-hmm.
All of LeBron's are all super teams.
They're all bought. Like you said, I mean, he went back to Cleveland, so you can't I want it for you. It's like, no, you came back here and
you came back here and you immediately said trade the first pick, Andrew Wiggins, for Kevin.
We bought you.
Yeah, I mean, literally, you were bought.
Who did we buy here? You motherfucker.
You, D Wade, Carmelo, and Chris Paul got in this fucking tandem bike together. I'm like, how can we all play together?
Yeah, well, good thing you got Rondo instead of Chris Paul, dumbass. Before we get out of here, we're gonna do Euros real quick. Dan, did you have a top 5 ranking?
Well, fuck, I had it before the Euro started, but it's a lot different now because some teams did not look impressive to me at all.
Yeah. Well, I can rattle off mine if you want.
Is your number one Germany?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, Germany and France, I think, are kind of tied for me, depending on Mbappe.
France is the strongest roster and whatnot.
Yeah, but I just think they're the best team. Them and Germany are kind of tied for me. People, Germany, they haven't played shit really, so it's not like I'm not like jumping through the moon.
Right. I get that.
But I have France, Germany, England, Spain, Portugal, and then Italy for me until proven otherwise in a big tournament. Italy's always got to be involved in the conversation.
Yeah.
Because they will, they'll beat Spain or they'll tie Spain and then they'll play Germany in the quarterfinals and beat them. And you're like, fucking hell, man.
I wasn't really impressed with Italy or Croatia in their game. And now that Croatia tied Albania, I'm really a lot less impressed with Italy even. So I can't put them in my top 5. But I do have Germany number 1 in the power rankings just because they've played well. Like you said, they've played shit, but they've dominated those shit teams. And they look good doing it. And they're in Germany. So it's kind of hard to go against a team that's playing at home. Spain played Italy, who's the reigning champs of this, and fucking crushed them.
Spain didn't play Italy.
Yeah, they did. Or Croatia, sorry, Croatia. So Spain played Croatia. I got that mixed up earlier, too. Spain played Croatia, who has been to the World Cup final. It's not the last one, but the one before. They've been to the Euros deep in it and all this stuff. They have Modric, all that stuff. They're a lot lesser team now, but they dominated them, dog-walked them. So I got Spain at number 2. Number 3, I got to go France because that's the best team in the world.
Spain over France?
Just right now after the first game. I would have had, going into this, I would have had France as number 1.
Yeah, I'm talking.
France did not impress me that much. Like they just, Austria, that's why you play against Austria.
Yeah, I just, you're not going to play every game.
And Mbappe's hurt too now, who knows. Yeah. And then 4th, I still got England, even though they did not impress me as well. And then 5th, I got Portugal, even though they did not impress me as well.
That's why I said I got to keep Italy in there because all these teams are saying they don't impress you. Well, Italy will come in and beat you. If
right,
like that.
right. A team that honestly I thought looked good that I didn't keep in there. Like you said, you have Italy just out of there. I had Netherlands. I thought Netherlands looked good.
Turkey.
Turkey looked fucking fantastic.
They're going to sneak up on you.
But they played one of the worst. Like, I think that might be a bottom 3 ranked team in this entire tournament.
Yeah. Scotland's right there with them because they fucking stink.
Yeah. Scotland's ranked ahead of Georgia.
Their coach was cheering on the crowd because they got a draw today. And I'm like, bro,
Scotland might be the most fun team, though,
in
terms of fans.
They have the strongest fan base.
They're like, there was like a, there's obviously the field. This little part was Switzerland. The other 80% of the stadium was all blue. Like, you were like, and you could hear it. They said, the guy literally said before the game, he's like, I think all of Scotland traveled here to watch.
Yeah, they said they expect like 200,000 people from Scotland to travel there.
But I've heard it's a lot of Celtic players, so it's just one of those things where, like, my cousin who lives in Scotland said, fuck this team because it's all Celtic players. He's not rooting for England. It's hard because England has a lot of the top players, and, we watch these guys every weekend play.
It's like fuck England. It's like, yeah, but like, I like a lot of those guys.
Bellingham, all these
If
guys.
Rashford was on the team, it'd be really hard for me to say fucking.
That's the only reason I'm kind of like, fuck them.
Kobe Mainoo's on the team. I'm a Man United fan. That's their best, arguably their.
But no Rashford. That's weird.
He's better than Rashford.
Yeah,
but it's just like it's also a more needed position, I would say.
Right.
But it's just like, yeah, it's hard to watch England. They have like the best players in the world. I can't shit on all those players just because they're England. I watch the Premier League is the league I watch. So when Phil Foden's out there and Harry Kane's out there, who used to be in the Premier League, and Cole Palmer and Ollie Watkins and Trent and Kyle Walker and all these guys, it's like I kind of like all these guys a little bit.
Exactly. Those are my dogs. Bill, you got anything else?
I'm good.
No top 5 ranking for you?
Have some Euro trivia for us next time.
We can do that. I think that's a good idea.
Nothing else from you? Dan?
No.
Well, like I said, this basically was a Boston Celtics episode, so if you can stomach the Celtics, you will enjoy this episode. If you can't, go fuck yourself, because we don't care anyway, because we have more championships than all your teams. So
I did send those would you rathers in the post for show. I don't know if you...
Yeah, we've gone long today. We'll hit those next week.
I'll say this. Last thing I have, crazy prediction, Oilers reverse sweep.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that. So Oilers were down 3-0.
3-2 going back to Edmonton.
8-1. McDavid last night had 2 goals and 2 assists. Did you see that move? Did I send you that move that he put on?
Mm-mm.
Oh, man. He's like the Kyrie Irving of fucking hockey in terms of...
As we speak, handling. McDavid is tied for 5th for points in a playoff run with 42. First play, like the top 4 are all Wayne Gretzky, basically. And he's 5 points away from tying for first. He needs 47. He has 42. And I think if they win in 7, like I predicted this going to happen, he's going to also set the record.
Well.
Yeah, I think Game 6 is going to be rocking, and depending on how the game goes, but I think if Edmonton comes out and puts it on them and plays with confidence, this is a coin flip series. If the Panthers can come in, obviously, and win in Game 6, or if they can muck it up in Game 6 and kind of, make it a hard fought, because winning at home is a little easier, but obviously I can guarantee you they wanted this over with by now, but this is not a team, especially with Edmonton, you want to just keep around. I just think with Stuart Skinner, he's going to have a game where he lets a couple slip by, and that might be enough for Florida to close this thing out. But I hope Edmonton wins.
We all know what Edmonton needs. That chick in the stands to pull her tits out.
Every time out.
Yeah.
I didn't think that's what you were going with, but I was like, what, Wayne Gretzky back?
I think she seriously has willed them to this point that they're at right now.
She's dragged this team.
She's done a lot for me.
With those Ds.
Those tits have sacrificed.
Other than that, though, you guys are good. Thanks for bringing that up, because I forgot about that. Just because I figured this would be Boston Celtic episode.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with that, we say bye to the NBA season. Thank God. Thank fucking God. We're going to be the champs until this time next year, where we have a chance to do it again.
What makes me happy is I can just talk shit for 15 years.
Yeah, that's J-Max said.
That's how long they last, about 15 years. It literally had just came to an end. It's like, hey, 2008's over with. That was fucking 16 years ago, and it's like, fuck, boom.
Yeah. This is Boston's second longest drought in terms of a city without a championship of 6 years. So this city can go fuck themselves, because that's insane. If you're from Boston, you're a fan of all those teams, you have lived an amazing sports life.
Mm-hmm. That's what our friend Chandler, he's not from Boston, but his family is, so he's a Boston sports fan. It's like literally as soon as the Patriots got shit, the Celtics started their dynasty.
Yeah, and the Red Sox have been winning. The Bruins have won a cup or two in his life.
At least the Bruins are top seed every year too.
Yeah, at least you can talk shit.
And he gets the benefit of he's a Knights fan.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, like I said, NBA season's over. It couldn't have ended any better, I think, for us as Celtics fans. There's a lot to look forward to for us for the rest of the league, we just got to see where it goes. Free agency's about to start. Olympic basketball, I'm very excited for. One thing I'm not excited about is Joel Embiid's on the USA. I just don't know. I don't like that. That's weird to me. Like, if we lose and he's on the team,
he's a fucking loser.
We have to kill him.
Yeah.
We have to actually kill him. But yeah, might be a couple shorter episodes coming up just because baseball and Olympics, Euros, once that's over. I told Billy and Billy we should do break down some NFL divisions or something. But yeah, like I said, goodbye to the NBA season, huh?
That's why I don't think we have a start for this one, like an opener. Unless you want to just open it with Celtics or something like that.
Yeah, it's gotta be something Celtics. Yeah, it wasn't this was a serious episode because we had to be serious about
I'm not fucking around with the Boston Celtics.
Okay? Yeah.
Want to throw a would you rather real quick?
What?
Want to throw a would you rather? You got one? Go ahead.
Would you rather hear All-Star by Smash Mouth every time you climax, or climax every time you hear All-Star by Smash Mouth?
You didn't think that was going to be that stupid, did you?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I've heard All-Star by Smash Mouth 4 times in my life.
Yeah.
So I'll take that one.
So will I.
It's
pretty sweet to randomly just climax.
Right.
Like when you're sitting somewhere, you're like, dude, I just came in my pants. I can't.
Like what happened? They're like, fucking All-Star by Smash Mouth. I didn't know who picked this on the jukebox.
But they knew.
I will say, if I knew you had that disorder, all I would do is play All-Star by Smash Mouth.
Yeah, if I knew that was the case with somebody, then they'd be run out of underwear in terms of being in front of me. But like you said, I don't feel like I hear that song.
How often are you hearing All-Star by Smash Mouth?
I saw that thing and I was like, I actually feel like I hear it oddly way too many times.
You should have picked a better, more like a Drake song. Like if you would have said it every time you hear a Drake song.
One Dance.
Yeah. Man, I don't know what I would do. I'd probably have to do it in the inverse.
That's what I'm saying.
It should just be a Drake song because any song, what's the song you hear the most ever? Like what song is I don't even think there's one that pops.
Songs come and go. Like it'll last 5 years.
But championships last forever.
Yes, exactly. That's what we're trying to get at here.
All right, well,
18 of them.
18 of them.
Still don't think we have an opener.
No, we don't. But, fuck it. Honestly, sometimes
show this is about a fucking sport.
Yeah,
I like what you did there.
Thank you. Yeah. Other than that, we'll see you next week. I think, or maybe we got to talk about the UFC card and shit. I think we should do it in the clinch for the cancel.
Would you rather be an opener or a closer when it comes to women?
A closer,
right? But
if you don't open, how close?
Right. What?
Yeah.
If you don't open, how close? But yeah, that's the thing, right? If you're an opener, but then you don't close. Is right. The whole point of it's to close.
Yeah. If you're opening, then you think you're going to get there and you can't close.
But my argument is, if you're a great opener, you can open with 2 women a day. At that point, you're going to close some of them. But if you're a good closer, that just means every girl that does, how many girls come around that just they have to open. You know what I mean? That's kind of the
math you got to look at.
Pam situation.
Yeah. I'm always for being a better closer than.
I think I'm a much better closer than opener as well, so I'll take that.
Dodgers were down 9-1 last night, or 9-2 last night in the 9th inning, or something like that.
9-4 is what I saw.
They scored 8 runs, yes, or not 7 runs. A grand slam and a 3-run home run by Teoscar to beat Colorado.
It was 9-4, and
Teoscar was a controversial check swing.
Yeah, it wasn't controversial.
He check swing.
He swung.
Yeah. It was 9-4, and Jason Hayward hit a grand slam to make it 9-8, and then Teoscar hit a 3-run home run.
That's the thing with the Dodgers too. We're gonna get out of here, but with the Dodgers, Shohei hits a single. You're like, okay, he steals second. You walk Freddie Freeman, and then Teoscar's up, and you're like, I mean, I guess you got a righty matchup, but I just feel like a good hitter and a clutch hit. Like you're gonna walk Freddie Freeman to get Mookie Betts up, or Teoscar's hit a grand slam in a tie game against the Yankees earlier this year. I don't know. I feel like sometimes analytics and shit has come so much. I'm like, dude, you've given up 6 runs, you just get it fucking out at this point. I mean, I guess we needed a force out. It's Freddie Freeman's not running. If Shohei Ohtani was up because he's fast and hits an infield single, that's a thing. But if Freddie Freeman puts a ball in the infield, you're going to be able to get him out at first. I can almost guarantee that.
Right.
What you can't do is field the ball out of right center field with Teoscar up. So I don't know. I just thought that was a weird play, but.
Jerry West and Willie Mays died.
Bill, the last month, what the fuck's going on?
Willie Mays died? I didn't even know.
I thought he was dead for 20 years.
I thought he was dead for probably fucking 40 years.
How
old is Millie Wade?
Millie
Mays.
Played from
93.
He played from 1957 to 1983.
You know how many All-Star games he made?
24.
Yeah, I was like, that's unfucking real.
He played from 1958 to 1983.
I think he was in Negro League too before he even made it to the.
All right, what is wrong with you?
That was the craziest fucking thing that you've ever said.
He's an American.
He's in the
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I know.
You know what day it is too.
You're a piece of
June
shit.
19th. And he's saying, I'm not even going to say what he said.
I'm not
I
even.
thought
You
we
guys
were about to
heard
say
it.
now. They're in the stats. Josh Gibson's leading hitter on the MLB. He played in the Negro League.
Can't believe they ever called it that.
That's disgusting.
No one was like, "Are you going to really call it the fucking
Yeah,
league?"
we're going to include these guys, but we're going to call it the N-word league. It's
Yeah.
like, wait, hold on. This sounds more like you're making fun of them. No, but someone else died too. Oh, Jerry West, Bill Walton, and Willie Mays in like the last month.
Yep.
What the fuck's going
Yeah,
on?
but you shouted out Bill Walton in the clinch and said he was the best big man passer, and he shit on it.
Said he's no Nikola Jokic.
Yep. And also, what's his name?
He did play in the Negro League.
That's fine.
Well,
That's
Birmingham
not-
Black Barons.
We're
I mean,
having
every
a
team was
problem
the black.
with the league.
The Birmingham what?
Black Barons
I mean, like, come
in
on.
1948.
What the fuck?
What were the other teams' names in the league?
There was a team called I think it was the Black Yankees.
Okay.
I was like,
You know how you have like the normal Yankees? Well, we got the black Yankees in this league.
There's no way. Do you know how many teams were in the Negro League?
oh man,
What?
the Atlanta team is bad.
Let's hear it.
Oh man.
The Atlanta Black Crackers.
Who invented this league?
We still got some of those.
So it's an
Atlanta
MLB
right now.
website, and it's just titled "The Negro Leagues," powered by the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum.
Okay.
The Black Crackers.
There was the Baltimore Elite Giants,
Okay, that's fine.
Birmingham Black Barons,
I don't like that.
Chicago American Giants. They're big Giants, guys. The Cuban X Giants,
Cuban.
They're not black. Those are
Detroit
Cubans aren't
Stars,
Negroes.
Huh?
Detroit Stars,
That's a good name.
Hilldale Club, Homestead Grades,
Some of these are good names.
Indianapolis ABCs,
They had a lot.
There's something racist there. I don't know what it
Indianapolis
is.
Clowns,
They had they had a lot of teams in this league.
Kansas City Monarchs, Memphis Red Sox,
Okay.
Newark Eagles, Philadelphia Stars, the New York Black Yankees, and the New York Cubans.
What's with the Cuban thing?
What is up with the race? Like,
I forgot the Pittsburgh Crawfords.
don't
forget them.
What was the Atlanta? The Black Crackers.
The Atlanta Black Crackers.
I
The
mean,
New York Cubans.
That's fucking disgusting.
That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get that.
What they were doing was they put like the balls in the thing like they do for the draft.
Yeah.
And they were pulling names out and they said put black in there 7 times.
Yeah.
And 7.
Put a bunch of racist shit.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
There was also the
Ryan has
National
a thing.
Colored Baseball League.
The what?
The National Colored Baseball League.
Yeah, the NCBL.
Of course.
NCBBL.
The Ryan was saying too, and I agree with him that catch. I don't want to say it's overblown, but I do think that you see it like it's just one of those things like Jordan's layup. It's like, yeah, I mean, fucking. Have you seen Derek Jones Jr. dunk?
I just saw a clip.
No.
It was saying
Like it's cool for the
I
time.
remember being a kid and seeing Tony Hawk pull off a 900. That was the greatest thing ever. And now there's 13-year-olds doing that.
You saw
in
that? You
practice.
saw that clip of that kid?
Yeah.
It said Tony Hawk was skating against plumbers and firemen.
No, literally. But then it's not like I said. For when he was, they were
I
revolutionary.
remember being
in
there
the
for
sport.
Travis Pastrana when they did the double backflip on the motorcycle.
Bro, like that.
Now they do front
we-
flips.
We're there. I'm like, he might die.
We were like, everyone was like praying. Now it's like double backflip. It's like 7 points
Yeah.
out of 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're doing front flips.
Like
They're
you want to win the
jumping off.
finals or not? He did a double backflip, and you would have thought no one was riding a dirt
I
bike
remember
ever
being
again.
there.
Yeah.
It was dead silent while he was in the air and the packed stadium.
That
And
was
you're just
probably-
sitting there.
he was there.
And then he lands.
That's awesome.
and it's just everybody erupts. I was like, this is like a game
They're
winner.
like, there's a guy that's going to die on TV tonight.
And he went up on that hill and with his goggles and was pumping, and you were like, "This is the greatest athlete ever." And like you said, now it's like he did a double backflip. Like there's been a million.
He was just
of
one of
those.
the first dudes with balls. That's it.
Well, now what'd you say? He jumps out of a plane without a parachute.
Yeah, and they grab onto him. I just don't like.
I mean,
He's got some nads on him, dude.
what are you missing?
What was that? Nitro
Dying.
Circus? Is that what he had?
that. Yeah,
Dude, he was lit.
no, he was awesome. TV's not the same anymore.
Mm-mm.
Really.
Oh man, there's this big fat black dude at our work, and good guy.
Black
And
Crackers fan.
no, he's not a big Black
Well,
Crackers
New York
fan.
Cubans.
But
I wonder what their jerseys looked like.
I've seen a couple on Etsy.
Dre at our
So
work
pretty
called
cool.
him Mark Henry in Big Black today from Robin Big, and I was like, from Robin Big, I was like, oh, that was a good show. R.I.P.
Yeah, no, good. Another one that died.
He is dead.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah, no, a lot of people dying. That's crazy. Stay safe out there.
Well, we saw that coming.
Well, yeah.
He would, if he wasn't dead, he'd have a hook for a hand by now.
Did you see David Lucas and I think it was James Harlan or whatever, like Harlan Williams.
Harlan Williams.
The roast battle.
Yeah, they were going at it.
That's it? I'm saying that's all you had was they have roast battled?
No, Harlan Williams was fucking hilarious.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I was shocked at it.
Yeah, is Tommy Lasorda dead?
Yeah.
Is he really? Zach Greinke and Magic Johnson are, and whoever signed these baseballs.
Magic Johnson is surprisingly not
Greg
dead.
Maddux is alive. Zach Greinke and Magic Johnson are both alive.
Well, that's all we got. Jaylen Brown is very much alive. Worth every penny of that contract. Jason Tatum's about to get 6 years, $320 million, which is 5 years. Sorry,
that signature on that.
5 years.
$350 million.
$350 million. I don't know who signed that ball. It's probably
This is Greg Maddux.
It was probably a 51s player.
I think I signed it.
Yeah, it was probably my first home run ball. Other than that, I think next time we'll see you is probably in the clinch next week before 303. Terrible news about that card and the one on Saturday, so who gives a fuck, really?
We were going to do one for this Saturday, but I think Whitaker-Imavov is...
Yeah, I've heard Imavov is a better matchup than Hamzat. For like it's going to be a more competitive fight. I don't know. We'll see. That's the best part is we get to find out. Other than that, like I said, stay safe. Boston did very well, only 7 arrests, and that Brian Windhorst said every piece of trash was cleaned up by the time the parties were over. So for being a racist piece of shit city like people say they are, they clearly know how to party, but they're also used to a bunch of championships. Have a good night. No bet of the week this week. Oklahoma State did not come through in softball, so I'm regrouping at the moment. Rerunning the algorithms. Go Celtics.